purging is at last at hand. The day of doom is here. All that is evil, all that are lies, your parents, your leaders, those who would call themselves your judges, those who have lied and corrupted the earth, they shall all be cleansed.
All right. Sir Kenaz is here. Sir Cleveland is here. All righty. Excellent. You can just get started immediately. Give it a moment as Sir Cleveland settles in. But yeah, Sir Kenaz, Goyim Fatigue, God Hates America, Part 2.
Man, I've been impressed by the diehard MAGA capacity to just keep eating buckets of shit and insisting it's chocolate ice cream. I mean, that's the only way I can really put it. I mean, it is
sir.
well, hey, the economy's doing better than ever. Spoiler alert, the economy is not doing better than ever. Dow hit 50,000.
Yeah, for a while, and now down she goes. Sir Cleveland, send me a request so that I can make you speaker. Oh, you're speaker now?
I think he is speaker, yep.
Okay, perfect. All right.
Unmute.
Let's have a... Dow hit 50,000, Sir Kenaz, therefore Epstein and pedophilia and everything is fine.
Epstein has been the biggest, dumbest ass circus I've seen, maybe this far in the Trump administration. Nobody's going to get arrested for anything for being in the Epstein files.
No one's going to get arrested, but people are going to get randomly shot in the street for it. I have a feeling.
Yeah.
Especially considering the fact that Mangione murdered a health CEO, right? People are now getting to the point where, okay, you know what, vigilantism is what we gotta do, right? That's kind of how they're starting to think, right? Which is how I expect this to happen, right? Sir Cleveland, try saying something.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
We are
Sir live. Cleveland. All right, woo! There we go.
This is really pathetic, but you guys are my friends, right? And
yes.
When I go a couple weeks without talking to you, it feels like I'm in Antarctica. I have no one to speak to.
We are honored to have you among us again, Sir Cleveland.
Your wisdom is always good in these times of doom.
Thank you for having me on. Boy, that was one hell of a week right there.
Yeah.
Enough.
Sir Cleveland, I sometimes I send you my stuff on Substack, and the reason I do it is to make a point. The point I'm trying to make is that nobody knows what the fuck they actually believe, right?
Yeah.
Like when they tell you stuff like, Indian scammers and Pakistani rape gangs or whatever, first of all, they don't believe in that stuff, okay? They don't. It's all herd mentality, right? The second thing is, if they actually cared about rape gangs and scammers or whatever the fuck, they would care about Epstein. They would care about the chosen people. They would care about all this other shit, man. Right?
Yep.
But, don't worry, Sir Cleveland, because it's our guy, the God Emperor Donald John Trump who did it, man. Then everything else is fine, man. Oh, white people did it? Oh, Jews did it? Oh, that's fine, man. Rape gangs, pedophilia, blah, blah, blah. What are you talking about, man? That stuff doesn't exist.
I know it. It's about focus and executive, isn't it, in terms of priority?
Exactly.
Yeah. So people are not going to realize that that's a priority. They're not going to realize that that's the answer to a lot of questions. They're not, and I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of weeks the whole thing blows over like it never happened.
Yeah.
It's nobody is going to get arrested for this. That's the whole thing. Nobody is going to get arrested.
Yeah.
We've known that, basically since what? When does Q start up? 2016, 2017? We've been
around 2015. Honestly, 2015, I think, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, 2015. So for 11 years now, we've been hearing about like the secret pedophile gangs and how like, they're basically a lot of powerful people are hanging out and like doing perverse things with underage people.
Sure.
Okay,
Everybody knows.
now that we got evidence of it, what are you going to do about it? And the
We
answer
have
appears to
evidence.
be
We have
nothing.
evidence of them. We have evidence of them like turning children into human jerky. We got evidence of like all the conspiracy theorists. Not only do they deserve an apology for all of these past several years, you also need to let them know, hey, it's much worse than what you said, right?
Much worse. Much worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Enough, didn't part of you want to be diagnosed as a paranoid schizophrenic?
I mean, a lot of people still think that about me, but
And I mean, wouldn't it have been a relief at some level? I think if that had ever happened to me, it would have been an enormous relief because I suspected, I intuited all these things. And, because I am a humble person, I thought, maybe it's all just confirmation bias. And I'm a very unwell person. Maybe I'm mentally divergent, unstable or something. And, I mean, your whole life, no matter how much evidence you get, you don't quite get certainty on any of this. You just suspect that these things are going on.
Yeah.
But this week, I mean, it was really overkill. It was too much. And people have gone to, prison for life on less evidence than they have. And they've got all these men dead to rights. They've got all the people in the emails, they're dead to rights with this guy. And I wouldn't be shocked if none of them ever sees the inside of a jail cell.
Oh, I'd be shocked if any of them do. I mean, I don't.
They won't.
They won't. It's not. This has been a circus that has kept like for 11 years. We've been screaming about like how Q is going to come in and save us from the pedophile gangs. And it's like, and all that time, at least the left has like manages to get action out of people with their cock and bull stories. I mean, they managed to get people to protest in the street. They managed to get people to like make, to sip out their slogans and support businesses that spout their slogans. The whole point of trust the plan is sit back. Somebody else is here to take care of it.
It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. Enough and I were saying they're up to 50D chess now and trust the plan. And they haven't moved anything but pawns in 11 years. And at this point, it's time to declare a draw or stalemate in this 50D chess game. Clearly, they're not making any moves of any consequence. So it's all kind of a joke now.
Hey, Sir Cleveland. Hey, Sir Cleveland. You're wrong. You're wrong, man. Like, didn't that guy the other day post like that poem about like when the Saxon began to hate?
Yeah.
Right?
Kipling,
like
Peru.
That's what they're doing, man. Like look, they don't care about rape gangs or like whatever. Oh, Pakistani rape gangs, Indian scammers, Nigerian. They don't care about that shit. What they like, here's what's actually happening. What's happening is they know that their society is falling apart. Intuitively, they know this. Some of them are even more attuned to that fact. They know the entire fucking shit show is on fire, right?
Yeah.
And like Sir Kenneth was saying, right? You look at the dumpster fire, you eat the shit, and you keep eating it, and then it's like, okay, well, who's the scapegoat for this? Oh, it's the fucking Pakistanis and the Indians and the Africans or whatever, right? Like, it's never the Jews, it's never the whites, it's never the Jews, it's never the whites. It's always like, the black and brown Untermensch, right? And the society's falling apart. And so what do they have left? They got a bunch of poems, and they're like, any day now, I'm gonna be awake and I'm gonna fucking kill you. And I'm gonna mass deport you. Meanwhile, Epstein's mass raping all their girls anyways, right? Like this crap, man. This is a completely
it was
dead
obvious
society.
by the time Jimmy Savile died, it was obvious that the children of Britain had been raped for the past 100 years. It's obvious.
Yeah, exactly.
And all they did, they passed them along to the Pakistanis, and they were running defense for these people. They had been raping these children themselves for 100 years, and they just passed them down the line. And the children of Britain have basically been raped now for over a century. but the people who started an industry, they made an industry out of it, are the British so-called leadership themselves.
Yeah.
Long before Pakistan's even arrived in Britain, they were doing it, as a profession. Literally, the number one thrust of their lives up there was using leadership roles to rape children. That's the truth. People who can't cope, people who can't handle that, well, if you can't cope, you're doomed to be replaced. They've been making war against you for 100 years. You got to live in a fantasy world, play football, eat your scones, and talk about a bunch of crap that doesn't amount to a hill of beans. Don't be shocked if you are pushed off your land. It's almost an afterthought at this point.
Yeah. And it's like, and it's just fucking hilarious. It's like, I tried to explain this, you know who I'm talking about, right? But I tried to explain this, but I don't think I got through to him. I explained to him, look, you're not in 2015, 2016, right? Pakistani rape gangs, Indian scammers. If you said that stuff back then, you could have gained some traction. In the year 2026, this stuff is laughable, man. You literally have Epstein doing all this, cannibalism, necrophilia, pedophilia bullshit, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, all of this is a conspiracy theory. It's not true. Trump didn't do it. It's fucking, the demon rats are lying. Okay, look, in 2015, 2016, if you're like a normie and a bunch of people made arguments about, well, I'm not a racist, but I think, Pakistani rape gangs, we should have a look at that, bro. You could have kind of sort of gotten through to a few percentage points of the population. Kind of sort of, right?
Yeah.
If you're doing this crap 10 years later, it's not going to fucking work. Because here's the thing, right? In the last 10 years, history has changed, right? What has happened is a lot of these populist parties, they've been elected either outright in the government, or they've entered the coalition, or they've kind of done whatever, right? But, okay, what do they do when they get into power, right? Do they stop migration? No, they don't. No, they don't, man. They have no problem with migration, all right? Do they stop the quote-unquote rape gangs? No, they don't, right? Many of them actually took part in them, right? What did Jeffrey Epstein say about Tommy Robinson? He's like, oh, he's cheap at any price, right? So there you go, right? And so, you can't fucking fool the normies with this crap, right?
I know.
They've grown tired of your crap, your racist drivel, right? And sure, you might get a few of them here and there every now and then, but you're a dying horse, man. This crap about Pakistani rape gangs, meanwhile, Jeffrey Epstein's pulling this crap, right? People have moved on. People are not going to give a fuck about, oh, I want a moral society. I want this, that, and the other thing. I want religion. And, nobody's buying what you're selling anymore, right?
Yeah.
No one's buying what you're selling because, again, they look at your actions.
Yeah.
And what your actions tell them is you're more of the same, right? You're doing your racist drivel from 10 years back because you want something sensationalistic and you want to gain traction and whatnot. You're not getting it, right? Donald John Trump is getting absolutely destroyed on every issue, right? The economy is in the shit, right? America's about to enter a war with Iran, which it can't win, right? It's going to get decisively defeated. All these other things are happening. What the fuck are you doing? Your brain is stuck in 2015, 2016. You are fucked. You are absolutely fucked. And again, that's why I call this episode Goyim Fatigue. You're just a bunch of Goyim, man. You're just a bunch of Goyim, and you're just going to get slaughtered. Especially if you're still talking about shit from 12 years ago. But yeah, no, rant over. Go ahead.
I feel it too. After telling people for 30 years, wake up, you got to realize at some point they're never going to wake up. Never.
No.
Nothing that's going to trigger a great awakening. And for the past 100 years, a child requires a mother and a father in order to create that child. For the past 100 years, how have these children been raped without anybody raising the alarm? And I don't think they must have had parents who cared. When you see the British daughters, their wives passed out on street corners for the past 20 years, drunk, half naked. I mean, what's going on here in Britain? And whoever you're blaming at present, I mean, aren't these people just opportunists? If your women are laying in the street half naked, drunk, on most weekends, why are you shocked that everybody is going to take advantage? It's like meat left out in the street. It's crazy. That's no way to live. And if you loved your daughters, if you loved your wives, if you loved your sisters, it would have never come to this. You wouldn't have put up with it. So
No.
just waking up at the tail end of it when it's almost over, and like I say, deciding I'm going to turn into Luke Skywalker. That's not going to happen. It won't. Trust me.
The reason they do this is because they know, like Sir Kenneth was saying. Sir Kenneth said it best. Like, none of these people are going to jail, right? The reason they do, like, oh my gosh, Indian scammers, Pakistani rapists, and whatever, right? The reason they do this is because, number one, they know that they're helpless, but they want to demonstrate that they still got it, quote unquote. And so they go after, like, women and kids and migrants who are not going to, quote unquote, fight back. That's not true, by the way. Migrants do fight back nowadays, right? So they want to do that. And number two, they want to show everyone that, yeah, man, I care about demographics. I care about migration. I'm writing something. I'm going to send it to Sir Constantine within like a few hours or so, but I'm just going to write a short piece, right? It's going to be like about 1,000 words, but I'm just going to, like, the title of the piece is Nobody Actually Cares About Demographics, right? And the subtitle is, look, America and the West predicaments are fundamentally psychological in nature, right? Which is basically what I'm going to argue. I'm going to argue that all this shit is just like you're saying, Sir Cleveland. It's just Luke Skywalker. It's just a fucking theater.
Yeah.
It's just cosplay. It's just LARP, man. Like, they don't care about this shit. If they did,
it depresses me. It really depresses me, this stuff.
If they actually cared about demographics and rape gangs and whatever the fuck, this Epstein thing would be what they would be talking about all the time.
Exactly.
Right? But
that would be the focus. Yep.
Oh,
in terms of
but
if
don't
they had
worry.
an executive agency, they would be focused on that. But I know them. In a week, they're going to forget all about it.
Oh, I think there's a couple of things going on here. One of them is that, if they actually cared about rape gangs, they wouldn't be trying to make excuses when the people who show up in the Epstein files happen to be members of their party.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
There we go.
The dog that did not bark. The dog that did not bark. It's suspicious, right? Why didn't the dog bark? Why are all these watchdogs, institutions, and supposedly rule of law agencies failing to say anything about this for the past century? I don't think the issue is as simple as a few bad people. It's not that simple. People like Jeffrey Epstein do not get away with this stuff unless there's a vacuum of accountability. Nobody was doing their job with this guy.
Yeah.
And they're going to pretend to be upset and somebody's going to jail, and they'll make a big to-do about it, and they'll be back and forth and lawyers, and mysteriously nobody will go to jail before this is over. I know these guys.
Yeah.
At this point, they waited for this to show up. It's kind of convenient. It comes up in 2025. Epstein died in 2019. The federal statute of limitations is 5 years.
Yeah.
So, like, none of the evidence here, they can't really do anything about it. I personally think there's a non-trivial chance that a lot of the, like, we were making jerky, we were eating babies was intended to poison the well.
Yeah.
That stuff was added there. I don't know. I'm not saying they didn't do it, but I'm saying if I wanted to totally, like, deflect from the fact that I was running like a child sex ring, throwing in things like these guys are so nuts, they think we're sacrificing babies to Moloch on Epstein Island. Why are you even listening to these people? Is a good way to deflect from that. The other one I see the Goyim going with now is, they not only do they believe that we're going to, like, that the Epstein files are going to lead to mass arrests, they also believe that we're going to win, like, a war in Iran over the period of a few days. Not only are we not going to win a war with Iran, this is my bet here. If I have to eat crow later, I'll eat crow.
Yeah.
We are not going to have a war with Iran. At most, we might have another theatrical little flight where they'll drop a couple of bombs. Basically, somebody throws a couple bombs in Israel's direction. But I don't even think Iran is going to cooperate with that this time.
No, the
I
Iranians
don't
basically
think we're.
said, yeah, well, like the Iranians basically said, any attack you do, we will view it as declaration of war. And here's the thing, right? Based on the systems that they're going to use, whether it's firing off the drones, right, from Israel or whatnot, or whether it's them firing the cruise missiles and shit, you're looking at 30 minutes to 3 hours, right? Because again, the jet has to take off from the ground. It has to fly over Jordanian or Iraqi airspace, right? It has to refuel or do some other shit. Then it has to fire or whatever, right? Something like that. Okay, 3 hours, right, on the high end, 30 minutes on the low end. Okay, Sir Kenaz, how long does it take for the Iranian missiles to hit American bases?
I want to say it's like 10 to 20 minutes.
5 to 7 minutes. Because
yeah.
Because the reason for this,
I knew that's why we're
Yeah.
not having a war. You know, we do a little theatrical strike on a couple of countries. I mean, on a couple of like Iranian sites that we know are under several hundred feet of rock, and we're not going to do anything other than slow things up for a few days.
Yeah.
We do that, they're going to blast the bejesus out of like every military base and American military base in the region.
Yeah.
But Sir
They
Kenaz,
can do it, they will do it.
Sir Kenaz, you forgot the most important thing. Donald John Trump is senile. So he still thinks it's fucking 1984, right? So he's going to go for it anyways, right? You got to factor that in.
I mean, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if they basically got to the point where they had, like, you know, Trump sitting down, showed him some AI footage of bombings in Iran, and like, yeah, we're really showing these SOBs, but you can't talk about it because this operation is top secret. And then he'd be running up, and then the next morning he'd be asking, you know, what's happening in Iran. They'll tell him a different story. He'll wave his flag around, and it's like, but you can't talk about it, sir.
There's more and more people here intimately involved in military policy who never served in the military and have no military experience. And they literally, they don't know enough to know what they don't know. They don't know they're not qualified. They don't know the decisions they're making are old mistakes, thousands of years old, mistakes made in advancing an agenda with a certain level of violence that you can't support. A person with military experience would know, quit saber rattling at Iran, okay? You will lose. If you start something with Iran, instead seek diplomatic solutions, because a war breaks out with Iran. I'm sure it's going to be catastrophic for Iran, but it could see Israel wiped off the face of the earth. The people running Israel right now do not believe God is looking out for them. They don't.
Yeah.
So when Israel is wiped into a glassine plain, and people realize the past 100 years has been nothing but fake prophecy and fake messianic religious fervor, it turns out that God did not want them to do anything they've been doing. And when the time came, he did not protect them. They're going to be crushed. It's happened in the previous 220 pogroms over the last 2,000 years. But the problem is the effects on the rest of us will also be catastrophic. So a wise man with military experience would know they need to pursue a completely different course with Iran. It's just not a wise idea to gin up this war. They can't win. They're not going to win. And it'll just lead to so many people dying and so much disorder in the Middle East that these crazy people in Israel right now, they think, well, that's going to help our cause if we completely destabilize everything. That's how nuts that they really are. Yeah. Yitzhak Rabin was not crazy. Yitzhak Rabin, before they killed him, he was not a crazy person. He wasn't. But the people in there now, they're madmen. And like all madmen, they have more confidence than they have sense, you know? If you've ever seen Tony Robbins on stage, I mean, it's all a lot of charisma and screaming and yelling and parading around. But, you know, Tony Robbins is basically crazy. He's crazy. He sells people his cassette tapes, telling them their lives are going to change if they stop self-doubting. That's really nuts. That's not the way life works. So the leaders of Israel, I believe, are leading the world into a third world war. And once it gets here, they won't have any.
I'm looking at this stuff. If there is going to be a war, either Israel or Iran are going to initiate it. I don't think the Americans, like, I'm looking at they've got one carrier battle group, right?
Yeah.
A second one might show up within 1 or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. Last time, they had 4 carrier battle groups during the 12-day war. And the majority of the time, these guys were playing defense, right? So, honestly, like, if America's going to initiate something, it's going to be like, okay, well, we got to shoot down these incoming drones and SRBMs or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just going to be a complete fucking shit show. Because what's going to happen is they only have, like, what? They only have, like, 300 something THAAD interceptors left. The other stuff has been depleted as well. They've basically got an empty gun with regard to interceptors, right? So they're going to use them sparingly, right? And what I expect is going to happen, right? And we're assuming that the Israelis initiate or something else happens or whatever, right? But as soon as the death tolls spike, man, I mean, that right there is the end of CENTCOM. Because CENTCOM is like 40, 50,000 troops overall. They're spread out across all these bases. The Americans have, like, abandoned Al-Tanf. The Americans have abandoned Ain al-Assad.
Very telling that they abandoned that.
They're doing it. Yeah, they're doing it. The reason they're doing it is because they are moving everything to bases that are nearby, and so the overall surface area that they have to defend when they're firing off their interceptors is a lot less, right? So that's what they're doing. Like, basically, if you're watching a boxing match, this is the part of the boxing match where the guy just raises his hands up and he's just getting body blowed by the other guy. Like, the body blows are about to show up. Right? Like, I'm sorry, bros, but, like, if you're in that situation, man, like, you're gonna throw in the towel, right? And people are saying, okay, well, enough, it's gonna be for several years. My friend, if in any confrontation with America, where the Iranians view it as existential, right, they will shut down the Straits of Hormuz, and at that point, you're gonna see oil prices hit 200 plus. In order to understand what the world looks like if you get oil to hit that price, I just got something open in front of me. Sometimes you got to work with numbers and make people understand. Okay.
Yeah.
The world's total assets are $1,100 trillion. $1,100 trillion. So $1.1 quadrillion. That's how much money people, the 8.5 billion people around the world, have spent on, like, stuff. Okay. Number 1 on the list, Sir Cleveland, is real estate. So land, things that are real, farmland, all this other stuff. Okay, $670 trillion. Okay, Sir Cleveland, what's number 2 on the list? What's number 2 on the list, Sir Cleveland?
Real estate, natural resources.
So real estate is number 1. Number 1 is $670 trillion. Okay, what's number 2 on the list?
Yeah, I'm guessing natural resources.
So all of that is included in real estate. So
okay.
What's in number 2? So what's number 2?
Well, after that, it's a service economy of some kind, isn't it? Some service.
Okay, so real estate is number 1. Number 2 is oil.
Yeah.
Number 2 is oil.
Yeah.
Yeah, 112. So $112 trillion. All right, so let's do some math. All right, guys, let's do some math. Okay, $112 trillion. Current price of oil, if you take, like, an average of all the different benchmarks that exist, is about $60. All right, $60, 112. All right, Sir Kenneth, $240, right? $240 is 4 times 60. So what is 4 times 112?
4 times 112 is 448.
Okay, so where is the additional $336 trillion coming from, Sir Kenneth?
Yeah. Oh, no. I mean, if oil goes up to $240 a barrel, you've essentially seen a shutdown in transport. You've seen, like, you're seeing 4 times raise. That's talking here in the United States, we'd be looking at about $10, $15 a gallon.
Yeah. No, nothing would fucking work.
The cost of trucking would go through the roof.
Yeah, well, like, nothing would fucking work. There would be riots on the streets, right? We're assuming, by the way, that the Americans are, like, doing this thing 6 months to 12 months have passed, right? Okay, $200, $400 oil. if that's what you want, man, the fucking economy collapses, right? There is no world in which oil having $400 trillion of market cap, which is exactly what you get when oil hits like 200 something dollars, is a world in which the global economy functions. It literally cannot function,
So,
right?
good morning, fellas. You're
Good
absolutely
morning.
right, Ahnav. I know I've been away for a little while, but
It's all good, bro.
just wanted to throw something out there, just
Yeah, go
like you
for it.
guys, like Sir Cleveland described, the people who killed Yitzhak Rabin are the Kahanist psychopaths, right?
Yeah.
And Yigal Amir, who was he a student of? Meir Kahane.
America
And
Hana, yeah.
exactly, and people. I mean, I hope at this point people know who Meir Kahane is. It's been 2.5 years of like genocide in Gaza and all this and destruction of the West Bank.
Mm-hmm.
So those folks are actually retarded
Yeah.
and they control about 15-20% of the
Yeah.
Israeli parliament, and they have all kinds of allies, and so they're like Ohio back in like 2005 when it was actually a swing state. So they're the swing minority.
Yeah.
And those folks, they they truly believe that they need to bring about the red heifer and bring the Messiah back
Yeah.
and all this bullshit. Okay.
All this
Scary.
bullshit, yeah.
So, right, it's very interesting stuff, but it's
By the way, Sir
also
Cleveland, I sent you the top 10 things in the world that exist by market capitalization. If you
Okay.
took all of the foreign exchange US dollars that exist, it's only about 22 trillion something dollars, right? So
Right.
oil by itself is more than 5 times that number, right? So when they're saying we're going to go to fucking war with Iran, and Iran's like, all right, man, we got our ace in the hole. We're just going to shut down the global economy. That's literally what we're talking about. We're talking about hundreds of trillions of dollars moving around, right?
Yeah.
And everything just grinds to a halt, basically.
yes. And my only concern at this point uh, is whether Israel or US or whomever will use tactical nuclear weapons, because these people are so psychotic that if they don't get their way, we've seen what they've done in Gaza, right?
Yeah, sure.
No one can deny. They flattened the entire place, killed tens and tens of thousands of children.
Honestly, man, they should do it. Like, they should use the nukes and they should just bring around mad, man. I don't see what the problem is.
Right.
Right. Well. Okay. Well, enough. That's an evil cackle you have there after you said
It's
mad,
not an evil
because
cackle, bro. Like,
it's a bit
if
of
they
an
want to
evil
blow up the
cackle.
world, man, I say, like, ahlan wa sahlan. We're not afraid of martyrdom, man. It's like,
That's true.
You
all
know
right,
what
Fair
it
enough.
is? In general, people respond really well to people who have confidence, right?
yeah,
And they can be very persuasive. Ordinary
yeah,
people are not aware that people with severe brain damage to the
yeah,
neocortex and the frontal lobes
yeah,
always have astounding confidence. The
yeah,
exact same traits that you see in those kahanas, which is euphoric, uh, absolute confidence and assurance that things are going
Yeah.
to turn out like they plan, that is
Yep.
associated with people who are nuts.
yeah,
Mentally healthy people do not have that kind of confidence. And that's
yeah,
why I know from being in the military, the real military wisdom is that you're looking for people very different from the sort
yeah,
of
Mm,
people that modern people respond to. What you want as your officers are people who are modest, humble, and the historical data shows those people have very low casualty rates and they
yeah,
have very high success rates. They
yeah,
are modest
yeah. You
and they don't
you
think
want Tom Hanks Saving Private Ryan, someone who's a
exactly.
humble teacher. Yeah.
Whoever
Yeah.
Tom Hanks is, he's played a good role there.
Yeah.
That's exactly. They
Yeah.
pulled a school teacher out of the population, and he turned out to be a really good leader. But
mhm,
the men that the populace responds to nowadays are whack-a-mole nuts like Netanyahu,
yeah,
who have overwhelming confidence, and people don't realize he's literally a Pied Piper. He's leading us into a third nuclear war. And when it
yeah,
gets here, he's going to have a look of shock and surprise on his face, and he's
yeah.
not going to have any option or alternative plan. He will have destroyed Western civilization. So I just
Sir
wanted to
Cleveland,
say,
Sir Cleveland.
yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna just briefly interrupt you and then you can continue. But do you
Sorry.
know what people tell me? Do you know what
Yeah.
people tell me when I bring up the fact that Iran has firepower dominance over the Straits of Hormuz and the surrounding areas, and the global
Uh-huh.
economy would be shut down? You know what they tell me? They tell me, "Hey man, America exports all this oil. We'll be fucking rich." They literally respond to me with that. It's like, okay, no, you won't, because like if the oil price is that high, markets in Europe and Asia would fucking collapse, and the contagion would hit America first, because
Yeah.
America is the world reserve currency, man. Right? So you've not thought through the consequences of your fucking actions yet.
The trade deficit. I mean, all you have to say is the trade deficit.
That's all
Like,
you got to respond
we
with, man. Yeah,
import more than
yeah.
Go
Go,
ahead, Sir Cleveland. Yeah.
go ahead, Sir Clement. Yeah.
I'm sorry, it was on a long extended rant. I just think
No
that
worries.
this is
No
not
worries.
the
No worries.
first time in human history
Yeah.
that madmen with plenty of confidence have completely destroyed the planet. I think it's happened a lot of times. And
Yeah.
the general population, they're too dumb to realize these guys are sick, man. They're not all there. And again, they claim to be fulfilling biblical prophecy and all that. After Israel's been destroyed, people are going to realize with despair how ridiculous all
Uh,
that was.
im-
God's got his own schedule. That's all I want.
Yeah.
imagine the chutzpah
Yeah.
of thinking you can bring about a biblical
You can
prophecy
trigger
as
it.
some fucking
Yeah.
yeah. Imagine it.
Yeah.
Imagine it.
The supreme being, he who sits upon the firmament, who is brilliant beyond our comprehension, is going to be
Yes.
forced because you come up with a red cow
Yes.
to act.
Ya Allah. Ya Allah.
I mean, I at least give the Jews credit for they're looking at their Bible and it says something about a red heifer, so we're trying to bring a red heifer about. The ones I don't get are Christian Zionists.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
no, we have a third temple in Christianity. It is Jesus Christ who died and rose again. That's that was the temple when Jesus died. That was the death of the temple. Well, it happens about 35 years later. It gets leveled. We don't like. You can build a third temple in Israel. You can build a fourth temple. You can put a shopping mall on that area. It's nothing to us theologically. We are two different religions. The idea that we have to support a secular Jewish movement because, like, our Christian religion tells us to, that's idiocy.
It's idiot.
It's heresy.
The Lord comes like a thief in the night. None knows the day or the hour. It is really sinful to think that you will force God's hand. It's an evil idea to believe that
Absolutely.
I'll fill some units of prophecy and that will force God to act. He'll have no choice. It's like professional wrestling, The guy's forward momentum. He can't help himself. He goes into the ropes and bounces off. I don't think the Lord can be forced to do anything for any reason.
Yeah. Well, like right now, I mean, it is so fucking funny, man. It's like, well, enough. What is that? I don't know what that was. Anyhow, so, but it's so fucking funny, man. It's like, we're gonna bring about this, that, and the other thing. Meanwhile, these same fucking so-called chosen people, right? And they're goyim, like they're Golem America, right? Like what happened during the 12-day war? Okay, the Iranians were firing 5 or 6 missiles every 4 hours, and I don't know, 20 drones, right? 20 drones, 5 or 6 missiles every 4 hours, right? Overall, over 12 days, I think like 500 or so missiles and about a few thousand drones. Like, the Iranians have tens of thousands of drones. The Iranians have several thousands of missiles, right? Here's the thing, right? What is the main limiting factor of Iran? The main limiting factor of Iran is that it doesn't have sufficient launchers to fire off all of that ordnance, right? Like, if the Iranians were super reckless and they're like, I just want to fucking fire 1 kiloton of explosives at Israel, right? They would need like a couple thousand launchers to do that, my friend, right?
Right.
Here's the thing. If you take a carrier battle group, so you take the carrier, you take all of the destroyers and the escorts, you take all of the jets, every fucking jet, right? All right, then you factor in human manpower, okay, obviously food, because people need to eat. Then you need to factor in fuel. Then you need to factor in all these other things, right? Like interceptors and defensive weapons. All right, Sir Cleveland, Give me a number. What do you think the total explosive ordnance is for a carrier battle group? What do you think it is?
I think I read that last year. Isn't it equivalent to 100 megatons, a single carrier group?
So if it's carrying a bunch of nukes, that could be the number that it's reached, but we're only talking about conventional load.
Oh,
we're not
okay.
talking
No,
about
I
them
wouldn't
using
know that.
nukes. Yeah,
I
we're not
wouldn't
talking
know
about
that.
conventional. Yeah. So if they're only using conventional load, it's only 0.7 to 1 kilotons. So that's about 1,000 tons. That's about 1 million kilograms of explosives, right? Which sounds impressive,
Yeah.
right? Until you realize something. The Iranians, just from their short-range ballistic missile arsenal, hover around 20 kilotons, right? Now, the good news for America and Israel is that Iran can't fire the 20 kilotons all at once, right? The maximum they could fire if they used all, a couple thousand launchers from all their missile cities is about 1 kiloton, right? But if we're being more realistic, right, and the Iranians are conservative, they're like, okay, well, let's fire 0.1 kilotons at a time, so about 100 tons. Like, my friend, if they're firing 100 tons of fucking missiles at you every 4 hours, they can do that for months, right? America runs out of explosive ordnance in like under a month in any high kinetic contest, right? And in terms of the Israelis, that's roughly the same time frame, right?
But sir, enough. The 150 C-130s landed.
Yeah.
150.
C-130s. Yeah, C-130, which has like a fucking cargo capacity of like, I don't know, 4,000 square feet. Yeah, bro, sure. 150 of those. This fucking, like, I swear to God, man, mathematical illiteracy is the kind of shit that really pisses me off. It actually triggers me, right? So, like, that's what this is, man. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna fucking kill Iran. And it's like, dude, you don't even know how to do mathematics properly, man. Like, you need
That's what I'm
to
saying.
actually go.
They need more real military people. They'll
Yeah.
work out the odds and they'll tell you, no, don't start saber rattling with Iran. You
Yeah.
will lose. But
Yeah.
I don't think that they have the patience to sit
No.
down with a $1 calculator from Dollar General and
$1
do
calculator.
the math.
Oh, man.
This is
Well,
not.
go
Yeah,
ahead.
this is insanity. It really
Yes.
is. There's no way I could describe it other than, nobody with a basic knowledge of geopolitics would think that starting a war with Iran, with the American military in the state it is in currently,
Yeah.
would be anything but a horrible idea.
Yeah.
There's this idiot on Zitter. I think Brother Naji knows who I'm
Well,
talking
that
about.
narrows it down.
Okay. but Brother Naji knows who I'm talking about, right? Every 5 hours, he's like,
Yes.
yeah, we're like America is gonna free the ISIS prisoners and they're gonna be used to invade Iran. And I'm like, motherfucker, go back to playing with your fucking action figures. Do you know how many troops you need to fucking invade Iran? Fucking Rumsfeld, Brzezinski, all the top geopolitics people who believed in like pro-American empire and all this shit. The number they came to was minimum 2 million troops. You need a minimum 2 million troops to invade Iran, right? How many forces are there in the fucking like desert right now? There's 50,000 American forces. You are not fucking invading Iran. Shut the fuck up,
Sir,
bitch.
enough.
Sit down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me interject.
Yeah. Go for
Okay,
it.
so let's say that who was the 1991 Norman Schwarzkopf? Let's say General Norman Schwarzkopf.
Yeah.
Okay.
Norman Norman.
Stormin' Norman. Let's say he somehow was a baller and he went to Saddam Hussein and he said, you know what? We're not going to attack you in Kuwait. You took Kuwait. That's yours. We're going to turn your army, just like Patton did, against Iran, right? A weakened Iran after 8 years of war. And we're going to turn our entire coalition of 650,000 plus troops, whatever, 8 aircraft carriers, all of the air, and we're going to storm into Iran and we're going to take out the mullahs and the IRGC and we're going to have and then we'll cut up the cake as we see fit.
Yeah.
That is very likely not to succeed in the long run, right?
Yeah.
So
and
I'll
now
give you the numbers. Yeah. So I'll give you the numbers. Okay. So during the Gulf War, the first Gulf War, the Iraqi invasion of 2003 is sometimes called the second Gulf War, right? But during the first Gulf War, right, if you look at the UN coalition, right, if you look at USA, UK, Saudi Arabia, France, Egypt, Kuwait, and the coalition, what you get is around 950,000 plus soldiers, right?
Sure.
The Iraqis and their vassal of Republic of Kuwait, they had like over 1 million soldiers. Okay, so like the Americans had like over 950,000 soldiers, over 3,000 tanks. They had very, very good aircraft, 1,800 or so. They had 2,000 something artillery systems. The Iraqis had a lot of outdated stuff, 5,000 tanks, 700 aircraft, 3,000 artillery systems. If you add both of those guys up, you only get to 2 million. So congratulations, guys. You get the minimum number of troops you need to fucking invade Iran. Right?
Exactly.
Welcome to the first threshold, right? You've cleared step 1. What's step 2? Oh, you see that 10,000-foot mountain over there? Yeah, man, you gotta fucking climb the mountain as you're attacking uphill, basically. That's basically what it comes down to.
That's the problem, is that with this, I mean, we can all accept at this point.
Yeah.
I used to have reservations,
Yeah.
but at this point, Zionist occupied government makes so much sense.
Bro, they literally cannot think. Like, if you tell them, for example, like, bro, like, there's a battlefield right now between India and Pakistan. It's called the Siachen Glacier, right? It is the highest battlefield in the world. It goes up like 15,000, 16,000 feet. The supply lines on that thing are crazy, right? They have like supply lines of hundreds of people, thousands of people, and you know what the actual like fighting men are, Brother Naji? You know what they actually are?
Yeah, it's like 5,000 versus 10,000 or something.
Not even
minimal.
that.
Not even that. Yeah, it's not even that.
It's like yeah, you're correct. It's 5,000, but it's like groups of like 8 to 12 soldiers, like spread out all over the place, because otherwise the supply line doesn't work, right? So what you're actually saying is, I need the 2 million troops, but don't worry, guys. Our actual offensive army is going to be this many guys going up the mountain in groups of like 20 and 30, right? All of you guys, by the way, man, you got to stay back here. Why? Because we got to supply all those motherfuckers. And don't worry, man. Obviously, Iran is not going to hit us with their fucking drones and missiles in like 7 minutes from now. Obviously, that's not going to happen.
So can I game plan real fast?
Yeah,
what
go for it, man.
Pete Hegseth in all of his glorious retardation,
yeah, man, go
believes. Okay.
Go for it, bro.
So, based on what mainstream media said about the 12-day war,
Yeah,
they think that they can shoot down approximately 95% of Iranian missiles. Okay. Which is, I know, well, wallahi, I'm not being an asshole. I'm saying that's what they reported.
That's what they believe.
A couple leakers, they call them leakers, leakers got through, right? Okay. So they think if they surge SM-3, SM-6, THAAD, whatever, they can potentially shoot down that. Okay. So they think that they have the ability to enter Iranian airspace with, I don't know, half a dozen fighters at a time. Maybe let's allow them 24 fighter, F-35s in stealth mode with very limited capability in stealth mode.
Yeah.
And they can destroy several, or they can, hamper several dozen, probably several hundred Iranian missile cities that are dug into the mountains with these fighters. And they can potentially stop Iranian missile salvos or interdict them or whatever.
They believe what they basically believe. What they basically
believe. It's amazing.
No, like, I'm going to simplify it even more.
In an area 2.5 times the size of Texas, by the way.
Nearly 5
times. 2.5 times.
I really wish we had a camera because you could see the expression my face is just frozen into when I heard this. This is the stupidest thing I think.
It's one of the stupidest
things I've heard all week, and my day job is following Twitter.
I'm here to provide it, Sir Kanaz. I'm happy that you enjoyed.
This is 95%. I mean, 25% would be generous.
Actual battlefield. So when they advertise this stuff, I think they said more than 80% interception. So when the defense contractors themselves were selling this stuff. They're like, we have more than 80% interception. In actual battlefield conditions,
the people selling
that's a
us
big, that's a
weaponry
good
told
point.
us that it was 80% plus interception.
Enough. I just want to say, so because these guys are not real military people, they make their projections based on the contractor's pamphlet, his brochure.
That's exactly
it.
what's happening.
And that is all wrong, all of it.
That used car salesman told me there was nothing wrong with this car. It must be
my Ford F350 will get 75 miles to the gallon. That's what he told me.
You open the hood and there's a squirrel in there running on a wheel. That's all that's in the car. Yeah.
So here's the thing, right? So in actual battlefield conditions, right? Against like slow moving drones and the slower stuff, right? The actual interception is like less than 50%, 25 to 50%, right? Anything that's greater than Mach 5 and you're like Mach 5, Mach 9, just because of human reaction time, it doesn't work out. Like you get to like interception less than 10%, right? Now, here's the thing. Even if we granted them 100% interception for the sake of argument, they only got a couple hundred interceptors, man. And the thing is, they got to use one or two of them for each interception, right? Like I said, Iranians have tens of thousands of drones, several thousands of missiles, man. Like, yeah, man, we're going to fucking kill Iran. Iran's firing 5-6 missiles at you. And it's like, bro, you used up like 100-something SAT interceptors over the 12-day period. What the fuck are you talking about? Several months of war? What the fuck are you talking about? And it's just fucking hilarious because, like, they actually had data, right? They had data that, the used car salesman selling you this shit, actually all this shit is false, right? Yep. All this shit is false because, like, the Saudi Arabia, right? Saudi Arabia is one of the largest purchasers of American military equipment. In order to protect their oil fields, they purchased a bunch of Patriot batteries, a bunch of these SAM systems, a bunch of these other guys, right? They even had a SAT battery. I think they still do, right? And who were they up against? Not Iran. Who were they up against? Not Pakistan. Not any of these guys. They were up against fucking Yemen, Ansar Allah, right? Which is like a rebel army. Ansar Allah simply fired off their missiles and they hit, man. Patriot, SAM, whatever the fuck. They didn't stop it. And the hilarious thing with the Americans is that the Americans said, oh, it's not the fault of the technology, man. It's just the fucking Arabs. Like the Arabs, man, they don't know how to use American hardware, right? And that's why their oil fields got hit. And I fucking laugh. I'm like, dude, you are fucking like, the reason the fucking oil fields were on fire was because the Yemenis figured out that this is junk tech, man. This is junk tech. Yep. Yeah, it's junk tech, man. And like, oh, what's our operating budget? Well, we are a quote unquote terrorist organization. And our operating budget is less than $10 million, but we can still fucking hit these places, right? Yeah. So it's like, dude, if you're using these same systems to try and defend Bahrain, Qatar, etc., and you're up against fucking Iran with like, I don't know, more than an order of magnitude. We are approaching like 2 orders of magnitude, nearly 100 times the actual offensive capability of Ansar Allah. What the fuck's going to happen to you? Right? Oh, we got New Scotland 20. Good, sir. You can speak. Go ahead. No need to raise your hand.
Okay, thanks. Hey guys, hope everyone's doing well. I just wanted to chime in to say that this is like 30 years worth of hubris though. Like this is their belief in God and the Iron Dome, which we were all told since like 1997 or whenever they first developed it, was going to protect Israel and it's all good. They're untouchable. So I just see this as like chickens coming home to roost, but also like a manifest destiny 2.0 that this cannot be denied. This is like American hegemony and but they won't come through this time, right?
Yeah, Sir Nova Scotia Tony, let me just really fast. It's almost like the accountants and all the product developers at Raytheon and Lockheed Martin, all of them. It's almost like the great grift that they've been doing to the American people is coming home to roost. For decades.
There's a really good movie on YouTube. It's called The Pentagon Wars. And it's really one of those movies that you should see because it summarizes the lies since the 1970s. Since the original guard after World War II died, it just became standard for all military contractors in the U.S. to fake all tests to fake all unit tests of hardware, to fake all the results, and whole clouds, castles in the sky have been built on these weapons that simply don't work. The tests are lies. They don't have that effectiveness. And then you have national policy, forward planning for wars in the Middle East against other countries based on these fake statistics about American weapons. And in the Pentagon Wars, they showed you there's not a single aspect of military testing that is legitimate anymore. It's all fake. And I just feel like this is going to culminate in a war where people get the living shit kicked out of them. Yeah. And at that time, they'll say, well, yeah, turns out none of our weapons worked as well as we thought. But Iran, meanwhile, they have saturation. Iran, no matter what happens, they have saturation amounts of missiles.
Exactly.
They're not going to be intercepted. It won't happen.
No. And here's the thing, right? What actually happened during the First and Second Gulf War? Okay, the Soviet Union collapsed, right? Basically, everyone knew the Soviet Union was a done deal, right? 1991, America had all that hardware because that was all the stuff which was going to expire anyways because, the Soviet Union is collapsing or it's about to collapse soon or whatever. We got all this hardware. We were supposed to fight this joint war in Europe against them. What do we do with it? Well, we use it to fight Iraq, right? Yeah. And then 2003, everything that was like a down cycle of that and had barely been like alive and kicking, that was then used in 2003. So it was always like a downward spiral, right? In the year 2026, none of that shit is around, my friends, right? All that stuff's in the junkyards. It's in the junkyards. It's in the junkyards. It's attritioned away. It's just gone, right? The reason why there's 40,000, 50,000 American troops and why there aren't 500,000 American troops in the Middle East is simply because America doesn't have the equipment. It's not because, oh my gosh, Joe Biden, because of him, we don't have the willpower, or, Trump just needs to try harder, and America's fighting spirit will come out of the woodworks. And that's not the reason this is happening is because nobody gives a fuck about logistics, procurement, production, etc., etc., etc. And they haven't given a fuck for 3+ decades, man. It's like you telling me, man, hey, I got all this equipment, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And then we go to your house, we open up your gun locker, and the fucking thing's expired, man. It's all expired product. It's expired product. Your fucking fridge is filled with expired milk, right? It's a complete fucking basket case, man. Complete fucking basket case.
Just to give a little bit of a perspective, if Nova Scotia Tony could, New Scotia Tony could, gift us with his take on what will happen with Iran, that'd be cool because he usually has present analysis and doesn't speak too much. Mm-hmm. That'd be cool. If you don't want to, no problem, but
go for it, bro.
I don't know exactly what will happen. I'm kind of caught between a nothing burger and this could be the end of Israel if they really, but in my head, I just think I don't know. I think they have the hubris. I just keep coming back to the hubris, and
the chutzpah, yes.
The chutzpah, exactly. To think that you can, I'm an agnostic, so I get the sense that you guys are religious people, and I'm agnostic, but I still, there's a spiritual part of me that thinks America has been asking for this. Israel and America have been squawking for so long, and I know there will be a large human cost, and people will die, and that's horrible, but they need a spanking. They need a spanking.
Schizophrenic, and if I don't know if they're ever going to get better, but when your schizophrenia leads to wars in which you get half your population killed, or lead to wars, it's now having an effect in the real world. You can go be crazy on your own time and live in a fantasy world with your red heifer and all that junk. I'm a Christian. I don't believe in any of that stuff. But
Yeah, and to that point, I think the schizophrenia and the insanity has set into the general population. I agree with you, Enough.
that too.
Those technologies are wasted and gone. They're not coming back. But then you hear Trump at Fort Bragg saying, "Well, why, those Navy boats, they used to be great, and why don't we bring them back from the
Yeah,
museums
you
that
don't
they're in?"
fucking build them. The reason you don't have them is because America produces less than 1% of the world's civilian shipping. Enough. What does that have to do? But my friend, without civilian shipbuilding, you can't have military shipbuilding. The two are called transferable skills, right?
Yeah.
That's what. If you can't use a fucking screwdriver, you can't use a fucking spanner. That's literally what this is. All right. So it's like, oh, enough. Where are all the ships, buddy? Guess what, man? You exported that shit away ages ago, right?
Yeah.
The majority of the world's ships, right, are built by 3 countries: China, Japan, and South Korea. One of those countries is your fucking enemy. Okay, what about the other 2? You know what the other 2 are reliant on? Oil and gas. You know how much they import? More than 90%. You know where it comes from? That's right, the fucking Middle East. Do you see what's happening here? Right? It's like,
But no, Enough. We've got the Venezuela
the
spigot
Venezuela.
open, and but that oil's going to
The heavy
Israel apparently.
crude. It's got rocks in the crude, bro. You gotta
It's got rocks
sift
in the
through the
crude, man.
rocks.
It's like a
Yeah.
creepy feeling that as civilizations approach the glove limit of 250 years, they're always like this. And historians look back and think, what was all this psychodrama? The wars weren't even necessary. There was a million ways they could have resolved this without violence. But near the end of the decline phase of civilizations, the answer to every problem is violence and killing. And they don't realize it comes from inside their own brains.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not necessary, but the declining society seems determined to destroy itself.
Yeah, there's a quote from Thomas Jefferson that I always think about, which is something like, every 15 or 20 years, there should be a revolution, even if it's just something of a revolution of the mind,
Damn.
but it has not
That's some
happened.
Maoist shit right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's from a real American
Yes,
patriot.
sir.
Yeah. They knew history, and they were introspective enough to know, sometimes we humans lose sight of what we're doing, and it can be good to overturn that old fallow ground with new ideas. Otherwise, we'll get stuck into patterns of behavior that can be very self-destructive. And the founding fathers knew that, but modern populations, I don't think they really have any self-understanding at all.
Yeah, it's just a skin mask of American values that's
Yeah,
not really
skin
true.
mask. Yeah.
Yeah, people are sedated. People don't go to church. People don't have, they don't read, right? I
Yeah.
mean, they're in a cycle. Unfortunately, they're hamsters in a wheel.
Yeah.
And, no hate to them because they have to be because in order to
Bro,
survive
what are you
and feed
doing?
their families.
Bro, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? You gotta have hate for them, man. Like they're fucking goyim. I'm sorry, man. I don't.
You're
You
okay.
gotta have
Okay.
If they made
hatred.
Push
this,
back.
if they made,
Okay, push back.
if
Push
you
back.
made this argument, 10 years ago, I would have nodded along. But I'm
Yeah, yeah.
sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
There are
you're
a
right.
bunch.
You're right.
Look. Okay, I was born in
I
Bangladesh,
love
right?
my people. I'm sorry.
Look. Here's the deal. I was born in Bangladesh, right? Us Bengalis, we got lots of vices. We eat a lot. We take bribes. We do all kinds of shit, right? If anything like this was happening in our society, where like, yeah, we're gonna start a war in Myanmar, or like, the economy is fucked, and sorry guys, we're not gonna, pay you your salaries or whatever, and 25% of the military is not even gonna get their SNAP benefits, and they're like, I'm sorry, bros, but like, Sheikh Hasina would have been executed, or whoever like the prime minister is right now. I think Tariq Rahman got
Yeah.
elected, but like,
Tariq
I'm
Ramadan.
sorry,
Yeah,
man.
Rahman.
I don't buy this argument. Like, hey, they're just like, what do they got to do, man? They like, no, you're like are you a society that has agency and volition? If the
Exactly.
answer is yes, it doesn't matter how hard. You can be a fucking Bengali peasant. You still have a duty to do
Yep.
certain things, right?
You can solve the
Yeah.
problem. If you have executive agency, you can solve the problem and continue in life. It doesn't mean Ragnarok or the end of the world.
Yeah.
If you don't have executive agency, you are doomed. You're doomed.
Yeah. So option 2. Okay. So option 2.
Yeah.
You don't have agency and volition. You're just a golem. You're a golem for the Jews. You're their goyim, right?
Yeah.
And if you're their goyim, then you deserve to be destroyed along with them, man.
There you go.
Right?
There you go.
They're your overlord. They're your overlord. You deserve what's coming to them as well, right? I'm sorry, man, but like that's how I see it. Like I don't see it as like, oh, I can be neutral. Like the thing is, it's very nice to say these words that, oh, enough, hate the government, not the people. Okay, fine, whatever. If America starts a shooting match against Iran, man, all bets are off, right? Because when Iran crashes the global economy, it's Iran is not going to get blamed. It's America who's going to get blamed, right?
Yeah.
And good luck being an American tourist in like Cambodia or like fucking some other part of the world. You're going to get lynched, man. I'm sorry, but that's what's going to happen to you. Like let's just be 1000% balls to the walls, crystal clear on what the world looks like in a situation where the global economy collapses because Iran and America and Israel are in a full-scale war, right? America's gonna get the blame, man. I'm sorry. That's what's gonna happen, right? Oh, it's not us, man. It's the government. It's not the people. You're gonna get the blame. Like practically speaking, that's what's gonna happen, right? And good luck trying to stop the riots on the streets. Good luck trying to stop your own soldiers from mutinying because they can't fucking buy oil and food and whatever, right? But all of this is by choice. The point I'm making is all of this is by choice, right? You can be a Bengali peasant, you can be some billionaire. I don't care about your income level. What I'm saying is, if you're a society with agency, there are things you could have done, man, right? Like, but I don't see them. So.
I'm not going to push back. I would just say I think Sir Cleveland sort of espouses this belief. There have been like thousands of like small destructive forces and like step by step, like thousands of little steps that have eroded the United States and the population, and their brains are like, it's not like typically like you're stuck, your car breaks down on the side of the road, somebody's gonna stop and help you. Like the American people typically are decent people, but they don't care enough to realize they control the world, and they make a joke about how they don't know anything about the world. Like, oh, what's the capital of Ghana? They have no idea, and they'll make a joke. They'll be like, oh, it's Toronto or something. They don't know, and that's the problem. Is we've reached like 6 or 7 decades of just pure like opulence, where the people of America
my friend, that's the point. Bro, that's the point I'm making. Like the point I'm making,
and it's sad. I don't know how to correct it.
There isn't correction, bro. Like the point I'm making.
Yeah.
The point I'm making is that opulence, all these things are correct, but the point I'm making is that all of this was chosen. Everything is chosen, man. Even if you make the argument that I didn't elect these leaders, even that argument doesn't work, because the unelected leaders could only have been put into those positions of power due to people having inaction and people doing like that's the point I'm making. Like, you cannot, when this war breaks out, if it does break out and the global economy collapses, right? America's going to get the blame. I'm sorry, man, but like that's what's going to happen. Like you think it's bad right now? Wait till you go like 2 or 3 years into the future and we literally have like the energy markets are shut down, and like Americans are being lynched in like Latin America, and like random military personnel in Europe are getting shanked by machetes at night by migrants, right? Wait till you get to that world, right? But that's where I think this is headed, man. Like, no one is going to buy this argument. No, like, okay, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, yes, they would have bought the argument. Not anymore, man. Not anymore, right? Especially like the way the Venezuela thing, like, when it happened, right? I paid special attention to it, right? Because like Epstein and like, Fuentes was saying Epstein is base, we're going to conquer Venezuela. And then like 5 seconds later, everyone's like, we got to rape and kill Danish people, and we got to conquer Greenland and Pax Americana. And I looked at that and I was observing it. And look, I know that there's a bunch of online bots, and I know that a bunch of these like fucking Cheetos, mom basement dwelling idiots are doing shit. But the thing is, these beliefs are not like, okay, 1%, 2% of the population espouses. It's like 20%, 25%, 30%. I'm sorry, man, but if you live in a society like that, you deserve what's coming. Because, like, you're...
I'll just...
Yeah.
No, I hear you. I'll push back
Yeah, go for it, man.
for
Go
a
for it, man.
second. I think that... not even push back. I would say if and when the United States public finds itself in a predicament, such as $200 in oil, whatever, they might start to care, right? Like they've been so cut off from reality. Like the entire globe cares about the rest of the globe. The United States, the people care about like what's the price of cereal or what's the price of like hot dogs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So potentially, inshallah, the people of America, when they get hit with a real cost, hopefully like a significant minority or maybe a majority will actually wake up. I'm not counting on it. I'm not holding my breath.
They're not gonna wake up, bro. Like what's gonna happen is they're gonna realize that they're fucked, and they're gonna run to try and survive, right? Like it's just gonna be lizard brain stuff, man. Like they're not gonna.
I feel with Epstein, I've started to appreciate God's good judgment in limiting civilizations to about 250 years because it's just part of basic hygiene and sanitation to wipe a society out and start over again. Clearly, it's too decadent, it's too evil, it's too crazy, it's a mercy killing. You know, God's just putting crazy animals out of their misery, really.
Because like if you exactly. Like Sir Cleveland. Here's the thing, right? And I'll talk about the Greenland thing and the Venezuela thing again, right? Like it's not just the online bots. It's not just a bunch of basement dwellers. It's also quote unquote ordinary people who take the attitude of, well, yeah, America is evil, but what are you gonna do about it, huh? Huh? Yeah. Look at how powerful we are. We're the fucking hyperpower. We can do whatever the fuck we want, right? And so it's like it's a solipsistic, right? Inward looking, nothing can ever touch us group of people. Right? Like what happened?
It's also it's swinging into extremism with fathers doing honor killings on their daughters.
Yeah. All of that, like it's a mental illness. The point I'm making is that when that cloak of invincibility shatters, there's nothing left, man. Like, oh yeah, the Kana doesn't exist, the rest of the world doesn't exist, and then like 3,000 dead CENTCOM soldiers later, right? Like people are not gonna wake up from that, man. Like their cloak is gonna shatter, and then they're just gonna go into like random, like episodic violence, like homicide. Oh, we gotta purify the country by killing the migrants, or oh, the white people, the racists, they're the reason this happened. Like they're not gonna fucking wake up, man. Like they're gonna have that shock to their system. They're gonna have that shock to their system. Energy prices are over the roof, and what are they gonna do? They're gonna run around being more violent, and so like I just laugh at all these goyim who say that America's headed towards civil war. Are you gonna call this a fucking civil war? This ain't civil war, bro. This is dirty war, right? Completely different animal, right? This is like multiple waves of dirty wars, right? You're gonna be talking to your friend at 9 p.m. Someone's gonna assassinate you from behind, right? And then, the wave of killings is gonna start. And like that's what it looks like. There's not gonna be a separation between like, oh, I'm a civilian, please don't shoot me. No, like either you're on our side, right, as the ones who are quote unquote purifying the nation, or whatever, right, whatever they believe in, or you're on their team and we gotta kill you. Like that's basically what's gonna happen.
I feel
it's
in
not
all civilizations at the end. There is sobriety. They do sober up at the very end. For our society, it will be the nuclear gangbang. When the nuclear gangbang begins,
holy shit,
people will sober up and they'll suddenly realize none of this stuff was worth this. There's no way it was worth this.
Right.
But it's too late then to do anything but just bend over and kiss your ass goodbye at that point.
I'm telling you, Sir Cleveland, I'm telling you right now, even before the nuclear gangbang begins, right? Like, even before it begins and America is starting... Yeah,
like, you have to copyright that for sure.
Yeah.
That's a great phrase.
Even, like, what I'm saying is, even before the nuclear gangbang begins, like, the thing is, here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Everyone is going to say America started the war with Iran by choice.
Yeah.
If there is a war, right? If there is a war. They're not going to blame Iran for defending themselves. They're not going to say, oh my gosh, Iran, the evil mullahs, man, they blockaded the Straits of Hormuz, therefore. No, they're going to say America, the sick, fucking psychos.
Yep.
The pedophile government of America did it.
Yep.
The citizens are no better. Fuck them.
Yep.
They're the reason why I'm starving now. And this, like, you have to understand something. Reputation is very important, right? Reputation is very important. If your vassals view you that way, man, they're gonna rebel, right? Oh, enough. It doesn't matter, man. It's just fucking like Denmark and Sweden or whatever the fuck. Like, okay, so if they dump the American pension fund holdings, right? You don't think that there's gonna be more selling from all these other guys? No, man, it's never gonna happen because we're American. Nothing's gonna happen to us, right? Like, I'm sorry, man, but like you're a solipsistic idiot. Right?
There's a lot of this going on right now. A lot of this going on with Canada. Like you see these American secessionist accounts saying, "Yeah, these are the counties we're going to take, and these are the provinces we're taking first." And then it's like, do you guys? I said one of them the other day. Like, we'll just wait until your dollar crisis and your foreign debt crisis really takes off, and then you guys are fucked. And he said, "What do you mean? What's a dollar crisis?"
Yeah. This is literally how they view the world, man. Oh, we got Sir Will. All right, so you know what? I'm gonna let Sir Will unload and give us his legendary rants because he's like, he's in the right place.
He has a red triangle.
Yeah,
he's got a red triangle in his profile.
Sir Will is like exceptional. So going fatigue, God hates America, going fatigue, part 2. Sir Will, take it away. Go ahead.
Well, I'm actually in a chiller mood today, to be 100% honest with you. But I gotta admit.
Bro.
Well, the thing is that, I just think Carney should crack down on the Albertan menace with a fierce wrath that, can't rival anything else.
Hear, hear.
Here, there we go.
I know. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, these people are just committing straight up treason and Carney is just letting it slide. What must be done?
Well, he has to maintain the liberal facade of politeness and niceties.
Well,
I don't think he shouldn't do that, man. Like, it's a fucking separatist, man. Like, look, we know who's fucking paying the separatist, man.
Right. Just real fast. If America collapses, Canada does too. All right, I'm not going to let that one slide.
Oh, I agree with that. No,
okay.
I agree.
All right.
We just all
well, like basically what's going to happen, like Sir Cleveland wrote an essay on this ages ago, right? It's called The Golden Horde, right? Right, but basically it would be like migration northward and southward. Like southward, the cartels and these other guys would shoot the fucking Americans and kill them, right? But like northwards, Canada does not have the military might to stop that many people migrating, man. Yeah. So that's basically what's going to happen.
And plus, Quebec has been just waiting for an opportunity such as that to,
Yeah. Sir Cleveland, educate the audience on what the Golden Horde is. Educate them the way you would educate any normie who doesn't know what the term means.
Our incredibly sophisticated society has broken down to the point that there's not even gasoline to power an evacuation. People come out of the cities on foot, hungry, starving, and terrified. After a couple weeks, they're a lot worse than that. They've gotten so desperate that basically they sweep over any place that they can walk to, taking whatever's not tied down, food, women, water, until they've reduced the entire civilization to a burned out shell. And when they reach the end of how far they can walk and loot, they'll try to settle down there and probably form warlike bands of scavengers, people who don't produce anything, but just look around the surrounding countryside for people they can steal from or eat. The last stage of it, of course, is very widespread cannibalism. And I think the United States is on a course for just this very end. When the Golden Horde is finished, all the people are dead anyway. There's nothing left to steal, and you're just left with a wasteland.
Yeah. Enough. Yeah. That sounds crazy, man. That sounds crazy. Well, all right. Let's go back in time in a bit. 1976, Immanuel Todt, social demographer. He tells everyone the Soviet Union's going to collapse within the next 2 or 3 decades. Yeah. Everyone laughed at his face. Everyone laughed at him. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? And he's like, I don't give a fuck about geopolitics. The only thing I look at is social demographics, family formation, the family unit, etc., etc. In the Soviet Union, it's collapsing, right? You're going to get increase in homicide, suicide, deaths of despair, etc., etc., which is precisely what happened, right? towards the end, a lot of people forget this, but there was a famous case in 1989. It actually shocked everyone when it happened. A police officer, a military officer, and a bunch of these other guys, basically a bunch of these dudes who are all like, either ex-military, in the military or in the police or whatnot. They're having a fun time drinking and whatever up in Siberia. And, their town has like only 30, 40 people or whatever. It's like a small village. 7 or 8 kids show up, right? And it's near a train station. And so what they do is they murder all of the kids, all of them. They murder all of them, 7 to 8 of them. And to make it look like it was a suicide or whatever, they line up the bodies. And so the train that shows up at like 2 a.m., it rushes over the bodies, right? On the trail tracks, right? And because it's like 40, 50 people in the village, they cover up the entire crime and everything. Long story short, it took about, I think, 5, 10, 15 years to solve the crime. Why am I bringing this up? Towards the end of the Soviet Union, this kind of crime was the norm, not the exception. You had actual military, police, etc., the exemplars of the law themselves engaging in heinous crimes, right? Okay, America's never going to collapse, man. America is not near collapse. We're nowhere. Okay, in the year 2026, what do you see in America right now? What do you see? Right?
Yeah.
Deaths of despair, exponentially going up. Pedophilia. Okay, no, look, you gotta let me finish, man. Okay, so pedophilia, right? Rape gangs, quote unquote. Oh, it's done by Epstein, man. It's done by Epstein. So you got that. You got like police officers, military people, etc. Some of them are now just doing outright political assassinations, right? You've got deaths of despair at 250,000 per year or higher, right? It's going up higher, right? By the way, just so we're clear what that looks like, Russia in the 1990s, the average deaths of despair was 700,000 a year, right? So if you multiply that out by 3, that's about 2 million. Oh, enough. America doesn't have 2 million deaths of despair. It only has 250,000. We are okay, man. We are not collapsing. Yeah, until you look at the graph, right? The graph doesn't reach 700,000 in like a linear way. It reaches it exponentially, right? So these are all negative feedbacks, right? Oh, America's not going to get 2 million. It's not going to take 10 years for it to reach 2 million. Let me put it to you that way, right? Especially if the exponential function works that way, right? And so, like, we're seeing the society fall apart right now. It's just that because the human mind cannot intuitively grasp exponential trends, they kind of look at these small things and go, oh, it doesn't matter, man. Like, there's still 50 years left in this society. I'm telling you right now, folks, there ain't 50 years left in this society. It's not.
No, there isn't.
It's not.
There really is not.
Yeah.
I was watching that so-called All-American halftime show.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
That shit just like told me that's like an omen for something.
Yeah, that's
total.
You just look at
bro.
This is the end. You watch that halftime show and you think, yeah, the society is finished basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely fucked, man.
You know what? Something about the Russians. The Russians probably still had a good degree of homogeneity even then, when the things were really bad. So there were Russians in local areas who pulled together, shared food.
Yeah.
They tried to help their neighbors, but it was really
they work for free. Yeah, Sir Cleveland, they work for free. Like some of these guys, they were like,
they just stopped showing up. Yeah.
But America has no homogeneity left. It's basically a 3,000-mile wide bongo party waiting to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe there will be any trust between you and your neighbors when it comes.
Yeah. There won't be any trust. And the thing is, right? Oh, I'm a subway conductor and I'm gonna work 7 years without getting paid. Yeah, good luck. Good luck making that sales pitch to Americans. They're like, okay, well, oh yeah, you're not gonna get paid. You're not gonna get paid for the next fucking 7 months, not 7 years. For the next fucking 7 months. Good luck with
7 weeks, bro. 7 weeks.
7 weeks.
Max. As an American, I'm telling you, maximum 7 weeks.
Brother, get out of there, man. Go back to Ohio, Pakistan, man. Get the fuck out of there. I'm telling you right now, get the fuck out of there, man.
I know.
If you don't get out, man, I'm telling you, man, if you don't get out, you're actually gonna see the fucking golden hordes and all the other shit happen, man. Like, the society is headed straight down the toilet.
All the things they write about Russia now, how bad it was, in the long run, the historians are going to say it was definitely the worst in America when they collapsed. Much worse than Russia.
Yeah. anyone who thinks that, the turban wearing 7th century desert savages shutting down oil and gas flows, that's not going to affect us because we are fucking America, baby, right? We make all that oil and gas ourselves. Like, they really fucking deserve what's coming to them, man. I really believe that, right? They really fucking deserve it.
If you were a historian 100 years from now, you're going to write about the U.S. after the Epstein files. You're going to write, it was an evil society, and everybody was glad to see it go. Even Americans were glad to see it go, because near the end, I mean, it was just so decadent. It seemed like a mercy killing to just get it over with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, like I was saying 10, 20 minutes ago, like, if Iran shuts down the straits due to like an actual war with America, no one's gonna blame Iran. It's gonna be America who gets the blame for it, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Bro, even if Iran struck first, no one would blame Iran. That's the point where we're at. Like, even if Iran pulled off a Pearl Harbor and destroyed Al Udeid Air Base,
That would be really
everyone
cool
would
if
be
they
like,
did.
well, yes, but even if they did that, no one would be like, oh yeah, Iran is the culprit
the
here.
mullahs, man, the fucking mullahs, they attacked us, therefore we need to invade them.
Right.
Yeah. Why the fuck is your
Yeah, it's
base?
crazy.
Yeah. Why the fuck is your base in our turf, huh, motherfucker?
Right. So why'd you put your country so close to our bases, dude? What's wrong?
Yeah, no, I'm looking at the deployment. I still think that if there is gonna be a conflict, it's gonna be Israel attacking first or Iran attacking first. I think the Americans are primarily there because they're a golem of the Jews and they want to like do the interception for them. I think that's the reason they're sending the stuff there. Yeah.
I think, well, it really doesn't matter at that point, because if Israel gets attacked, then the U.S. will step in my opinion, my humble opinion.
Yeah, they'll
The
step
U.S.
in.
and
They'll
Israel,
step in like
they're
the
tied at the
boxer.
hip, bro.
Yeah, like they're gonna step in and they're gonna be like the meat shield. They're gonna be like the body bag, and they're gonna take the body
Exactly.
blows. Basically, that's basically what's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
happen.
yeah. They want to spread out. They want to spread the IRGC's missile capability out to as many locations as they can.
Yeah, good luck with
Right?
that, bro. Yeah, good luck with
I know.
like I don't know.
I'm not.
I'm
I'm
gonna
not a
watch.
proponent of this strategy, bro. I'm just telling you.
I'm gonna grab
They're
my popcorn,
retarded.
bro. I'm gonna grab my popcorn. I'm gonna grab my popcorn, and I'm gonna watch these fucking Westoids use a few hundred interceptor missiles to try and intercept, thousands of missiles and like several tens of thousands of drones. I'm
Bro,
gonna
the
enjoy that, man.
funniest thing,
Yeah,
Afnaf, you get your popcorn ready, bro.
yeah, bro.
Put on, I don't know if you guys flavor popcorn in Bangladesh. I don't know if you throw a little, spice
I'm
on
back
there,
in
a
the
little.
sandbox, bro. I'm back in the
You're
sandbox. I
back
was
in
in
the same.
Bangladesh, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The funniest part about this, not the funniest part, but like a real part that people don't seem to grasp, is that Iran, they created the Giran drone, right? They created the Shahid 136 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
They have been stockpiling these drones for at least 5 years, at least probably 10 years.
Yeah.
So they have tens and tens, probably hundreds of thousands of these drones. They're not
Yeah.
much. I mean, they're really quite cheap, and they fired like almost not like I remember, I think it was True Promise 1, right?
Yeah.
They fired
Yeah.
like 250 of these drones, and like everyone, mainstream media was like, oh, the Jordanian Air Force helped intercept a
Yeah.
couple of dozen of these, right? They
Oh, they
have
call them
tens of
missiles,
thousands,
bro.
hundreds of.
Bro. It's so fucking like the Westoids. The Westoids called the fucking drones missiles. And you know how they get those numbers of like 80, 90, 95% interception? They're like, look at all
Yeah,
these missiles we
is
shot down,
based
man.
on,
Yeah.
yeah.
On shooting
Our
down the fucking
SM-3,
drones. Yeah.
yeah, our
Yeah.
SM-3 that
Ye-
cost $2
Yeah.
million per missile, or like whatever,
Yeah. Yeah.
struck a 25K drone.
Yeah.
That was like, that takes literally 48 hours or like 6 hours to get to Israel. Yeah, dude, it's
We shot
insane.
down we shot down a drone we shot down a drone that travels at 150 kilometers an hour, right? Using a jet that travels 3 times faster than the speed of sound, using a missile that probably is faster than that, right? And don't worry, guys, don't worry. Obviously, Iran is a pussy. Obviously, Iran is a cuck. Obviously, Iran, the men there aren't real men. They just read poetry all day and whatever. And obviously, the Iranians are not going to fire several thousands of these drones. Obviously, they're not going to do that.
Oh, dude, it's going to be tens of thousands of drones on the first day, I think. Well, maybe not tens of, but like thousands and thousands
the
of
Iranians
drones.
are limited. So the Iranians are limited by launchers. So the thing
But
that's
not for
limiting them,
drones. Not necessarily for
not
drones. I think
necessarily for drones. Yes, not
like
necessarily for drones.
1,000 drones a day makes sense because we see Russia, what they do with Iran, right?
Yeah, they do like
They set
700,
up, they set
800
up.
drones. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
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 And the hilarious thing,
It's going to be hundreds and thousands.
Here's the hilarious thing about Russia, right? Like, Russia does this every fucking day now. And the West has sent Ukraine everything, and they can't stop the drones. And one of these commentators, like, he's one of these German guys, but he actually, I think he has, like Sir Cleveland loves to say, like, you need 2 brain cells to rub together, right? This guy seemed to have the 2 brain cells left, and he rubbed it together. And he's like, okay, well, what if the Russians fire 10,000 drones, not at Ukraine, but at, like, Berlin, Germany, Warsaw, Poland, and France, Paris, right? Could we actually stop them? And the answer he got to was no, we actually couldn't stop 10,000 drones. By the way, just so we're clear, Russia right now is in a de facto state of war. I know, like, if you talk to Russians, they say that no, it's a special military operation. Okay, whatever, man, whatever term you want to use, you're in a state of war. Okay, gentlemen, the only category that Russia currently overproduces Iran on are cruise missiles, right? Iran during peacetime, because of its commitments to its allies, whether it's Ansar Allah in Yemen, Hezbollah, etc., Iran produces every day, every week, and every month more SRBMs, more MRBMs, and more drones than Russia does. Russia produces more cruise missiles. That's the society America's about to fight. Okay?
Yeah. And that's why I think that they're going to fight them sooner rather than later, because at this point, every week they prolong the negotiations, the faux negotiations. It's like, dude,
the
Iran
Israelis,
is creating, they're putting kilotons, in their arsenal. Yeah.
The Israelis, I think one of these Israeli guys, I think the number he came to was, okay, how many missiles are the Iranians building right now? And he said, they're building thousands of them a month. And in terms of just the short-range missiles, so not the intermediate stuff, not the cruise missiles.
Fatis. Yeah.
The Iranians, according to their estimates, the minimum number that they're building are 300 short-range missiles a month. So 10 a day, basically. Yeah. They're building 10 short-range missiles a day. All right, Brother Naji, how many missiles were the Iranians firing every 4 or 5 hours back during the 12-day war? 5 or 6? So imagine that, but forever, like perpetually, forever.
Yeah. No,
forever.
That's literally 3 to 6 missiles. The thing is, people think that 12-day war was some kind of a test case, and I agree with them to some extent. But at the end of the day, man, you have to acknowledge that Iran has had the short-range capability to strike Al-Udeid, Bahrain, the naval base, the U.S. major naval base in the region, the base in UAE, the evacuated base, Ain al-Assad in Iraq, Erbil, they're still there, and several other bases. They've had that capability for so long, man, and they just keep stacking their missiles, man. So
the only reason, like the only reasons the Iranians haven't attacked America is very simple. It's because they want to sell their stuff on the global market, right? Here's the thing. That wish disappears the moment Americans launch like a real attack against Iran. And then the Iranians are like, okay, well, this is actually an existential war for our very survival, right? and we're not going to have this opportunity to join the global market anymore. You know what? Fuck it. Blow it all up. Implode the global economy. Iran has a veto on the global economy, man. That's what they got. Right?
They do.
And the thing is, right? Like the liberals in Iran and all these other guys, you know what the fastest way is to get them on your side with regard to like, yeah, let's blockade the straits? It's to get the Americans to fire their cruise missiles at hospitals and kill women and kids. That's what you need.
Yeah.
I, for one, highly look forward to the global economy imploding. It will lead to a massive reduction in emissions, carbon emissions.
There we go, man. Woo!
Recessions
all right, baby.
are arguably the most environmentally friendly thing you could have. This is why.
There we go.
Minus the missiles. Yeah.
Yep,
there
exactly.
Yeah.
Iran,
you know what to do. Ayatollah, if you're listening, you know what to do, man. Do it. Go for it. We all believe in you. Yeah.
In field artillery, you undergo a barrage. There's a procedure when you think there's incoming missiles. Everybody in your artillery unit takes shelter. They buckle up. They close the hatches. But then, you report to the commanding officer. As soon as the barrage is over, you return fire. You come out from under defilade. But like it occurs to, if they thought about it, with Iran, the barrage goes on forever. It never.
Yeah, it goes on forever.
Yeah. I mean, there's never a time
24/7.
when they won't be launching missiles again at Israel or surrounding.
It's just gonna be drones.
Yeah, and that's just not a war that's sustainable for the attacker. No. The barrage has to end at some point. Yeah.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
The Iranians, I think the Israelis did a preliminary estimate. I think the Israelis said last year, so this was last year, this was even before, like, the Israeli estimate was Iran has over 80,000 drones, right? I don't know if that's true or not, right? But the Israelis themselves said the Iranians have 80,000 drones. If you fire, like, I don't know, 200 drones every hour, right? So, all right, let's do some math. You got 80,000 drones, and you do 200, right? That's about 400 hours. So that's about, like, almost 20 days. And we're assuming no production, by the way, right? If you factor in production and whatever, you're looking at several months, man. Like, you can just keep going forever and ever and ever. And, oh, by the way, during that entire 6 to 12-month period, all the fucking oil tankers are gonna be like, fuck this, man. We're not gonna pass through this place, man. Our ship's gonna be on fire. We can't pass through these waterways, right? Global economy's fucked at that point, right?
Enough. Have you seen, I mean, again, there are two main categories that the modern standard, media, the mainstream media has tried to put upon the goyim in the various countries. It's missile interception and the destruction of launchers. Okay, so missile interception.
That's fucking hilarious, man. Holy
shit, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But let me just.
Yeah, go for it, bro. Go for it.
The ballistic missile, we talked about it earlier, 95% of ballistic missiles are 80% or 85%, whatever. Most of the missiles were destroyed. And the destruction of launchers is insane. It's like they destroyed thousands of launchers, even though at the end of the 12-day war, they were able to hit whatever they wanted. So that's where you're at, man. Like, the people in charge are,
if you
retarded.
if you go to the Israelis, right? Obviously, they have military censorship and all this other crap, right? If you look at footage of the 12-day war, right, and these idiots are talking about 95% interception. Meanwhile, you see all these missiles hitting, right? And then you see, like, towards the end of the war, you see the fucking drones hitting, right? You're like, dude, the reason you called for the ceasefire, man, like the reason you fucking child killers called for the ceasefire is because you ran out of fucking interceptors, man. And you had to get your golem America to show up and start, like, giving you cover. Like, that's what this is, man. I mean, the SAD, all these systems, the SAM, the SAD, it's always the same issue. The issue is, and it's not an issue America can resolve. The issue is that for every dozen or so, or several hundred or so that you make of these things, right, the Iranians can simply make tens of thousands of drones and thousands of missiles, right? So we're talking about 1 or 2 orders of magnitude greater. Like, it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna wear this body armor, and it's gonna help me out against bullets. Well, the other guy's just gonna make 100 bullets and kill you.
Right.
It's like, whatever, man. I mean, the Westoid cope. And that's all they got, man. They got cope, right? What do they have left? Well, Iran's not gonna attack us because they're a bunch of pussies, right? Persian men read too much poetry, all the women are whatever, and you know, it's like the arguments that the British made, before fighting the Japanese. They're like, oh, the Japanese language is very complicated, therefore more of their brain power has to be used in the Japanese language, therefore they cannot make targeting systems properly. And oh, you know, even if they could, their eyes are too slanty, so if they try to like actually shoot at our like destroyers or whatever, it won't work, right? And then, you know, Britain lost the Battle of Singapore, right? And so you got this shit. The Americans are doing the exact same thing now with Iran, on why Iran's not going to fire back. And then they're doing this cope of like, well, if they do fire back, man, the missiles are not going to hit because they're very inaccurate. All of that's false, right? And the final cope, right? So cope number 1 fails, cope number 2 fails, and you see like dead Americans at like Al Udeid or whatever, right? Then they're gonna say, well, we are America, that's why we'll win.
Yeah. Let's game out how, let's just say, in 2 weeks, the missiles start launching, the American F-35 start launching, and there are 1,500 casualties, right? American casualties.
Yeah.
What, like, how does that affect American society? Like, it's just an interesting thought experiment. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm throwing this out to the, the Sir Canaz.
How many casualties was it? Sorry, how many casualties was it?
It 1,500 in a week. That's what I just a base
15.
number, you know.
All right, so let's say for argument's sake,
no, it's not about the number of casualties. It's about how will America respond, right? Like,
I mean, if you have casualties, so I'm assuming you're talking about like dead and wounded unsanitary, right?
Yes.
Okay, so 500. So let's say 500 dead, and like 1,500 in addition to that have like their legs blown off or whatever, right? Like the big
awesome.
Okay.
but like
motherfucker. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, but he's not wrong. He's not wrong. But like, if you have a situation,
I know he's not wrong.
So let's say 1,500 invaders get their hands and legs blown off. Okay, so what does that world look like? Okay, so people are gonna be videotaping that, man. Like they're gonna be taping like the 6'5", 240-pound, jacked white Ubermensch or whatever the fuck get his legs and arms blown off. I think it's gonna be a big like earth-shaking moment, because for a lot of these like goyim, right? Again, the rest of the world does not exist. Only America exists. And if America is taking this many casualties, it's going to make them act psychotically. I think that's actually going to be the outcome, right? Like,
I gotta disagree with you on one thing. It's not going to be like a 6'4" Chad.
I know, bro. I know, bro.
It's going to be like a 5'6" Marine named like Aaron Jimenez or some shit.
Hey,
I know, bro. Bro.
He can do 20 pull-ups. That boy can do 20 pull-ups.
That's what. Yeah.
I think I've got a real life example for Brother Najee's question though, because those 2 ships collided this week. Those 2 American destroyers like got into a little fender bender there, and I think it was Kinez posted like in the Telegram, like there was a quote from one of them saying how like they're traumatized from the fender bender, like they haven't had to be in combat, so even their ships bumping together has really
bro.
Right. The traumatized people were the people that were sailors that came in right before the 12-day war. Remember when they were originally going to start launching stuff at Yemen, and Yemen started launching things back at them, and they referred to it as traumatizing.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, if Yemen traumatized you, I can't wait to see how you're gonna feel about like dealing with the missiles Iran's gonna shoot at you.
Yeah. Like you gotta remember, Yemen is fundamentally, it is a rebel army. Ansar Allah are a rebel army, man. Like they have technology that they indigenously built after the Iranians showed up and showed them how to use the systems and build the stuff, right?
Yes, exactly.
It's basically a bunch of brothers without shoes, dirt poor, right? All they do is fight all day, and when they have some spare time, they go back to their like old school Yemeni residences and they build some shit in the garage. That's literally what you're dealing with, man.
The Yemenites, the American Navy got its ass kicked by a country that doesn't have a
Navy.
I mean, that's kind of like, how embarrassing is that?
Yeah. It's very embarrassing, and the thing is, it's like, well, like Sir Kenneth was saying, oh, you got traumatized by fucking Yemen. Okay, now imagine a country that has actual missile production, right? Like industrial level missile production, which is on par or higher than Russian missile production numbers during peacetime. We're not even talking about wartime. We're not talking about wartime surge. We're not talking about North Korea and Russia and Pakistan flying in missiles and whatever to like bolster you or whatever the fuck. We're talking about basic civilian production of missiles and drones, right? I'm sorry guys, but you got traumatized, well, you're gonna get your legs and arms blown off. Right? That's basically what's gonna happen. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, no one's gonna. I mean, the recruitment numbers are very low at this point for the United States military.
They can't, bro. They can't even
they're gonna go lower. They're gonna go lower.
Bro. Recruitment numbers. You're thinking about recruitment numbers. Wait till you see what happens to like actual soldiers on duty at these CENTCOM bases.
Yeah.
Right. And they're gonna fucking run into the desert, man.
They're gonna go AWOL. I get you.
They're gonna go fucking AWOL, man.
50 years ago.
Oh, guys.
They're gonna run for it.
Guys, I think we got a new Epstein files here. I just saw this. This was apparently released yesterday.
Oh, interesting.
Caroline Levitt said, has exposed that while pretending to engage in a peaceful transfer of power, Barack Hussein Obama, in private, went to great and nefarious lengths to sow discord among the public and sabotage his successor, President Trump. So the whole Russia collusion thing was a hoax.
Obama is responsible for Epstein. That's basically what they're trying to do.
Now they're saying that
Good
some
Lord.
of the people that they're targeting now, like who were involved in this, are John Brennan, former director of national intelligence, James Clapper, James Comey, Andrew McCabe, Hillary Clinton, Susan Rice, Loretta Lynch, Sally Yates, Lisa Monaco,
Yes.
Adam Schiff, Peter did Lisa did
Yes.
Peter, Bruce Hoare, Nellie Hoare, Robert Mueller, Rod Rosenstein, Andrew Weiss, etc. Oh, look, a new scandal. I'm going to bet, okay, no, come to think of it, I might not bet so confidently on this. If Trump feels that he's cornered, and he is cornered, and Trump feels like there's a pretty good chance they're going to try to send him and everybody in the Republican Party to jail once the Democrats come back to office, which there's a non-trivial chance of that happening. This is the time for a purge.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a good idea. There's lots of reasons why you don't want to do that. Yeah, it would be a big hit on American credibility, would cause a lot of problems in the bond market, etc. But if Trump feels that this has now become a situation where, if I leave office, if a Democrat is in control, I'm going to die in prison. This could, it's probably better to strike the serpent first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm not, I've seen a few things going on here. I've felt like, okay, you're targeting Georgia elections. You're now taking a look at Arizona. You're looking at Minnesota. You're trying really hard to clean up some admittedly corrupt voter organizations. And now you've released something like this. I would bet more money on an attempted, on a night of the long knives in America by Trump than I would on Trump taking us to war in Iran.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I think there's more chance of that. They've got Debbie Wasserman Schultz, officials from the DNC, CrowdStrike, Fusion GPS, Perkins Coal. Yeah, I mean, this is on one hand, it is an attempt to deflect attention from the fact that the economy's in the toilet, although, I'm sure that somebody is going to listen to this and leave a comment. What do you mean? The economy's never been better. What are you? You hate Donald Trump, don't you?
The Dow is at 50K, sir.
Yeah, bro.
The Dow is
Oh
at
man,
50K.
that's their
It's
fucking
like
argument now,
48.
Tommy.
What national debt at?
Yeah.
This is like, I'm looking at this, and I mean, I've felt for a while that if Trump or Vance aren't the last legally elected presidents, they're going to be near the end of it.
Yeah.
At some point, with the level of polarization we've got in America, everybody wants a strong man. They just disagree on which strong man they want. Everybody wants to see people lined up and shot. They just disagree on which people. When you're in a place like that, it is inevitable you're going to wind up getting your strong man. I don't think you'll like your strong man once you get them, but that's what you're going to get.
You're gonna get your strong man, and your creditors around the world are gonna dump your ass, because at that point you've got the politics of a quote unquote third world country, but you've got the demographics of nearing Japan at that point. So you're a complete fucking basket case.
I'm not saying how's this? The only thing I would add to that, Anup, is that they're going to dump our ass sooner or later anyway.
Basically, yeah.
So
this will make them go. This will make them go like 10 miles per hour on the treadmill rather than like 4 miles per hour on the treadmill. Basically, yeah.
Yeah, it'll speed that part of it up.
Yeah.
But like when you have one thing about a collapsing empire or any kind of a collapsing government, the people who are currently in charge will do anything in their power to stay in charge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if it doesn't happen, we are going to get to a point where like one party, one particular group is going to start using mass arrests and lawfare to take out the other group. And I can tell you what, one of the reasons I know this is every time I say this anywhere on social media, I get a dozen people saying, yeah, but Party X is a lot worse than Party Y.
Yeah, it's rubbish.
Yeah.
It's like, you're missing the point here. I'm telling you that they're not the problem is the polarization. The polarization is more dangerous than either party is on its own.
Yeah.
They're all crooked. Yeah. We got that. Politicians are crooked and power hungry. When did that start happening?
Golly gee. Shock Pikachu face.
But it's like, we are in a situation right now where where we're going to see in my estimation, the decline, the end of the American empire to be replaced by an American dictatorship, an America where elections keep getting put off. Or basically, we have the.
Oh, there will be multiple. Sir Kenneth, there will be multiple Americas. Texas will be America. California will be America. Florida will call itself America. There will be a lot of Americas. They'll experiment with all kinds of stuff.
I agree with that. What I'm saying is, in the last declining days of the global American empire and the United States of America, which is where we are at.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to see people trying desperately to hold things together. Yep. You're already seeing it in Europe. I mean, you look at the way Europe has gotten rid of free speech and essentially sees the people it governs over as the enemy.
Yeah. It's pitiful. They've given up on all values. Mm-hmm. They've given up on all Western values.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to get a bit worse. What happens when America pulls out and when the American economy goes in the toilet? And this is the one thing I think we may have a tiny bit in our favor. when the Soviet Union collapsed, it was very bad for the Soviet Union and for people that were dealing with the Soviet Union. When the American government collapses, there are very few countries in the world that won't take a big hit from that collapse. This will bring about like a global shakeup.
Yeah.
That's
big
the
transfer of
one
power.
thing,
Yeah.
yeah, the one thing that would lead me to think that they will keep propping the U.S. up even as they pull out is nobody wants to be there when that hot potato lands.
Well, at the end of the day, right? Like a lot of these things will happen simply because they're unavoidable, right? Like the Japanese know that if America fucking dies, they die as well, right? But they have a mandate to keep the yen below 160 yen, right? If it goes above 160 yen, it's gonna like melt up to like 260 or whatever, right? And good luck like dealing with that bullshit, right? But like, people can see the end. They might, like, the central banks are like trying to put Humpty Dumpty back together again, but it's not gonna work out. I mean, the problem with America, yeah, like the problem with America is that it's the giant sequoia tree in the forest, right? Basically, the sequoia tree in the forest, it's the largest tree in the forest. It has all these relationships with all these other plants all around it, right? All the other plants kind of know that the sequoia tree is kind of a tyrant or whatever the fuck, but hey, if he lives, we all live as well, right? But if the forest fire hits, man, like the forest fire will hit the sequoia tree from all directions simultaneously, right? And at that point, it can't be stopped, basically, because, like, enough, what does Japanese bonds have to do with, like, energy markets? Well, I mean, if you have a situation where Iran and America are fighting and gas and oil flows are disrupted and oil goes to like $200, $300, man, I mean, the Japanese are not going to hold on to those bonds, man. They will sell the bonds and they will try to get emergency funds to try and acquire gas and oil at the market with regard to like those high prices, right? If they don't, their society implodes due to, like, I don't know, not having enough oil and gas. So, even in that scenario where, like, people have a vested interest in making sure the sick, dying giant sequoia tree continues to exist, sort of. But if there's no oil and gas, then they'll go for the oil and gas instead, right? If you're drowning, you're gonna push the other guy to survive, right? I don't think, like even the Canadians, like the way the Canadians are behaving. I think yesterday or the day before yesterday, they signed a comprehensive defensive agreement with like Denmark, Greenland, I think the Faroe Islands, a couple of these other guys, right? Like they are just telling the Americans that if it comes down to it, we will fight to defend Greenland, right? I think the French are saying the same thing. Oh, enough, it's fucking France and Canada, and they don't matter. Well, France has nukes, number one. Canada is the second largest country in the world. I mean, good luck fighting up there, right? And so it's just a big fat basket case. I don't think, like, in the year 2026, I think it's less the case that people are willing to give the Americans, like, okay, well, we'll give you the benefit of the doubt because, like, if you die, we all die as well, right? I think they've just gotten to the point where they're just looking at this shit and going, okay, look, we're all gonna die anyways. Can I just live a bit longer, right? By like trying to save my ass. I think that's where things are headed, right? And it makes sense because, like, the leaders in Europe and all these other places, they're all like a bunch of craven cowards. They love taking bribes. They love taking the money, right? Okay, so, like, if they're that kind of people, right? They're cowardly, they're craven, they're dishonorable. Why the fuck would they listen to their overlord America? Their overlord America says, hey man, you're the daimyo, I'm the fucking shogun. You gotta put yourself in front of that sword and kill yourself so that I may live. Why should Europe listen at that point? they'll just take the easy way out. They'll just betray America, right? So, at least that's how I see things going, right? I don't think, like, France and the UK, like, vassals are inherently, they tend to be disloyal more when the shogun is weaker, right? And they'll just, like, pretend after the whole thing is over. They're like, oh, we were never on America's side, man. We were playing 12D chess, right? We were never on their side. Obviously, they were tyrannical, but look at us or whatever, right? And then China, Russia, and these other guys, they'll be like, okay, you're our vassals now. And they'll be like, all right, deal, done. We are, Western values, man. We don't care about that stuff. We were always like pro censorship and all this other stuff. It's not going to be an overnight conversion, but it's going to be like a factory reset. Like like that meme Sir Ken has, where like you got like that NPC guy. A guy opens up his hardware booth and he just puts in a new chip. That's basically what's going to happen to Europe.
Oh, that's just that we've been living that for so long here.
Yeah.
I mean, I can remember when conservatives were all about the Second Amendment. I was like, well, Preddy shouldn't have been carrying a concealed weapon. That was like it's his own fault for getting shot. It's like, the man had a permit for concealed carry. He was exercising his Second Amendment right.
Mm-hmm.
The right to keep and bear arms is not the right for people I like to keep and bear arms.
Yeah.
That one was just with me. It's like, for those of you, if you have not seen the Preddy shooting, it looks like essentially a gross fuck up on the part of ICE, and that's like the most charitable way I could put it. The least charitable way I could put it is a targeted assassination.
They were very poorly trained, and they overreacted to that pistol on his hip. They should have pinned him down. If he didn't draw his revolver, the truth is they were poorly trained and didn't realize restraint first. Don't just start shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that was just, it's entirely possible to say, I support ICE. I think, we should get the worst of the worst people out of here. I have no real objection to somebody saying, okay, we got somebody who's been convicted for child molestation. They came in here from country X. Send their ass back to country X. Most of us don't, but I really don't want armed groups running around I don't really want armed federal agents shooting people with impunity.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I think it's possible to have both those ideas together.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, it's become, once again, well, either ICE is literally Hitler or ICE is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And it's like, no, I don't care. Yes, we need immigration enforcement. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that involves coming in and throwing, people and taking people away. It is what it is. But that there's a big difference between, I'm trying to get these illegal immigrants and to send them home, and I'm shooting people. Basically they shot Alec. If that video is right, and I've never seen anybody say it was AI generated, they shot the man because they shoved a woman to the ground. He was trying to help her up, and then like a cop sprays him with mace. Then 4 other cops get him down and are beating his ass. Then one of them pulls a gun. Supposedly the gun fired, and then they unload like a clip in it.
Yeah.
That way, there was that, the kindest, like I said, the kindest thing I could say about that is it was a gross fuck up. I will also say with ICE agents, I've just now got a job after about a year of being underemployed, spent a lot of time on LinkedIn and job boards before that. There were advertisements for ICE all over the place. The number of ICE agents they hired, they couldn't have given them the kind of training they needed.
No, not possible. Not possible with that level of whatchamacallit. Like what, 47 days of training? Yeah, some bullshit like that.
Tens of thousands of new agents. I mean, you got a bunch of people here who are like, maybe it's like, okay, I worked as an MP when I was in the military. Well, that's great. How much experience do you have in essentially behaving like a SWAT team member?
Yeah.
This is really, that was, and to be fair, the fact that the government is like, when you tolerate rioters throwing like snowballs and rocks at armed people, I mean, you have a right to protest, the way they were protesting, there's going to be people losing their shit, snapping and shooting.
Yeah.
I'm surprised there hasn't been more shooting.
Oh, there will be, especially if the oil prices go up.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I'm also, one of the things I wondered is Tim Walz of Minnesota was militantly against ICE, militantly against Trump. Jacob Frey in Minnesota, Minneapolis mayor, same thing. Tom Homan sat down and talked with them. Not long after, Tim Walz announces he's not running for a third term as governor, and as a matter of fact, he's never running for office again. Jacob Frey starts using the Minneapolis Police Department and the Minnesota State Police to break up rioting anti-ICE people. What did he say to them?
Mm-hmm.
What it's I kind of wonder, like, what kind of vice did you put on their balls to suddenly get them doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Did he really point out that, like, yeah, guys, we might use the Insurrection Act against you, and that will essentially be us doing what we did in Venezuela, except you don't have any guards around you? Again, I do expect some kind of civil unrest coming up within the next few years, and it could come as early as the next few weeks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sir Cleveland, you're going to love this. I just found something. U.S. cattle herd, so this is like cows and stuff, shrank to the smallest since the early 1950s. So it's the smallest in like 70 plus years, pushing beef prices up by 15+% at grocery stores in the past year. Yeah, Sir Cleveland, food shortage incoming.
It sounds to me like somebody's doing that on purpose.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any real logistical reason why the beef supply would be less.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, they have more consumers. So I suspect that a lot of the beef shortages we've seen lately, they're on purpose. Part of engineering a famine.
Possible.
Yeah. If you can drive prices up enough where people can't afford beef, it doesn't matter if there's still some for sale. Only wealthy people can afford to eat it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think I shared something to the. I'll share it again. Hang on a second. Is it possible to share this? I'll share it again. But like I shared it to the spaces. But like Chinese satellites right now are giving the Iranians real live intel of like American bases in the area, right? So let me just read this very quickly. Okay. Intel Frog 2 hours ago. Satellite imagery from Chinese satellite provider Nizar Vision posted yesterday over a Diego Garcia, that's the base in the Indian Ocean for America, in the Indian Ocean shows a sustained presence of 2 U.S. Navy P-8A Poseidons and 3 U.S. Air Force KC-135 Stratotankers. Also visible is 1 C-17. And Sir Caroline Line 2 hours ago, he says, China is doing all of this to show the American military it can and will provide real live targeting data of all U.S. bases to Iran's missile forces. They ain't playing, Sir Cleveland. They ain't playing.
I feel like they're angling for a great power war. Like, if you don't back down after you learn that China and Russia are involved on the other side of things, you're asking for it.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're asking for it.
Yeah.
That's about right. It doesn't look to me random. It doesn't look to me like the people involved aren't looking forward to it. It's like they want it to happen.
Yeah, they want it.
Moment of silence.
That's all good. Like, I was just gonna kind of go back to what I was saying when I first came in. Like, I'm an agnostic person. I don't make a judgment on like But like this seems like they are asking for a spiritual warfare. They want it. They think they can win,
Yeah.
but they need. I agree with Sir Cleveland. Like the slate needs to be kind of wiped. It sounds like extremists, but I do kind of think a spanking is needed here.
Well, I mean, they're gonna get it. I mean, it's gonna happen all at once if it does happen, right? If
Well,
it's a nothing burger, that's a different discussion,
to
right?
to
So,
to Sir Kenaz's point, it appears that they're trying to trick the United States population into getting into a cultural war, right, with ICE and with just like hatred amongst the people, and
yeah,
then using that they can potentially focus on domestic policy, like we hate ICE or whatever, and like just completely obfuscate the fact that Iran, just sent a satellite into space using Russia, and the Chinese have their ability to give us satellite data, or give the Iranian satellite data, and like it's like it's yeah, I mean, it's insane at this point. Like it's like, what are you gonna do? Like, you're gonna go attack Iran in order to win the
hey,
midterms?
brother Naji,
Like, what are the
brother
midterms
Naji,
even about? Yeah. Go ahead.
brother Naji. All we gotta do is fire a bunch of cruise missiles at a few hospitals, kill 5,000 Iranians. We just gotta kill 5,000 Iranians out of 92.5 million people, and the fucking mullahs will be fucking scared. They'll piss their pants, and America, baby, will be back. And woo, they're gonna surrender
That's
to us, right?
that's
That's
the
the
big thing that Iran has going for it in a war, other than all the other things it's got going. If you kill 1 million Iranians, you have 91 million angry Iranians.
Exactly.
You kill 100,000 U.S. troops.
Yeah.
You've got people screaming. You've got protests in the streets. That is the end of the political career of the president that declared that war.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a very, people don't take that into account. If they're willing to take 1 million losses, and Americans usually get antsy around the 50,000 point, that gives them a significant advantage in a protracted war.
Sir Kenneth, we've talked about this before, right? We discussed like how 5,000 casualties, deaths in Iraq, right? We discussed this earlier in earlier
We've discussed
episodes.
this a few times.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
I mean,
I don't feel like a lot of the people that are basically thumping their chests.
They're
yelling
going, Sir
about
Kenaz, they're going. They aren't people. Come on, let's get that right.
they're not they're missing this very important point. America, you have to take into account what number of casualties will it take to shut these people down. In this case, the answer might be to actually basically beat them into submission might be 10 or 20 million.
yes.
To do that, you're going to need you're going to have several 100,000 Americans coming home in body bags.
Exactly. And that's what perturbs me, guys. It's because the nuclear option is still there, and like let's just like take a step back, right? The Epstein files have been exposed to some degree. Like, these people are at their last rope. They're at their last rope, and they are psychotic billionaires, and they quasi control the United States military or fully control them. And it appears to me that like nuclear weapons are not off the table, and Iran, let me just really fast describe Iran, like the Shia, and Ahnaf, you're not Shia, and Nova Scotia Tony, like we're not like hyper radical religious extremists here. We're rational people, but yeah, we believe in God. But at the same time, it's like their slogan is Hayhat min ad-dillah. That's what the Shia believe. It means never to humiliation. So you have a conflagration coming. Like, it's coming. And
T-Naz and I,
yeah,
we both believe that at some point somebody's going to break the nuclear taboo who doesn't realize it's a taboo. You're not supposed to. And once people see how effective it is, they're going to think, wow, that little country
exactly.
just kicked the crap out of the U.S. with one bomb. I think all hell will break loose when everybody starts to realize, wow, you can knock the U.S. back with one of these. You know, even a little 20 kiloton weapon, put the fear of God into them.
Yeah.
I reckon the U.S. will withdraw before it goes nuclear.
I hope to God you're right, Sir Cleveland, but at the same time,
Brother, don't worry about it. It's only 2 billion people. There's going to be 6 billion people left on the planet. Relax.
I
Calm down.
expect one of the things that I would expect is Israel decides they're going to drop a couple of nukes on Iran. Israel gets hit with Pakistani nukes.
I hope.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. And I think
it's not about hoping, bro. It's not hoping. It's basic. Bro, it's basic. Mutually assured destruction isn't just a fancy acronym.
Yeah.
Mutually assured destruction is basic military logic, right?
Sir Arnaf, there is never in the history of nuclear warfare has there been tactical nuclear weapons, have they been deployed. So we don't, look, we don't know.
Hiroshima and Nagasaki,
were
15
before
kiloton and 20
anyone else
kiloton,
had nukes.
right?
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
No one knows.
That's right.
It's more like a conventional weapon. It's a conventional weapon, except it's really efficient.
Right. It's huge, but it's not too crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And people will think, hey, what's the difference anyway?
Exactly.
A couple more kilotons than a conventional.
Exactly.
The thing is, okay, what does Matt actually say? Okay, so what does Matt actually say? Matt says that any first use of a nuclear weapon will see a response in second use, either from submarines that are intact, from the country that you attacked, or from some other country who decides to attack you. Why is that deterministically true? It's deterministically true because it's game theory 101, right? If I don't do it, the advantage that you get is so high, right, that no matter what other method I use, whether it's conventional weapons or whatnot, I won't be able to get through the advantage that you've just gained,
Correct.
right? The way nation states operate is they always try to maximize their national self-interest, right? The reason Pakistan will hit Israel with a nuke is not because, we're taking revenge on Iran, our brother, or, we hate the fucking Zionists. It's none of that. Yeah, it's none of that. It's none of that emotional bullshit. Look, the reason Pakistan will hit Israel with a nuke if Israel nukes Iran is very simple. If Pakistan does not hit Israel with a nuke after Israel uses first use, what that means is Israel now, within the next several hours and days, will accrue such an overwhelming advantage that the fundamental national security of Pakistan and all other nuclear states are in jeopardy. All right. Lay out your disagreement.
So my disagreement is tactical nuclear weapons, right? The United States has, I think they pioneered tactical nuclear weapons, which mean 1 to 5 kilotons, meaning they can wipe out 1/4 of Tehran, right? Not the entire city.
They don't have those, bro.
The United States does.
They don't have those. They don't have those. And the reason we know they don't have them is because of all the treaty systems that the Soviets and the Americans signed. All those things were basically dismantled. And the only thing that's left in these places are like the 100 kiloton or 200 kiloton stuff, right? The thing you're talking about is like the Davy Crockett and these smaller systems, right? They were phased out, and the reason they were phased out was because like you could put them on an artillery system or whatever, right?
No, not just artillery, but yes. Okay, go ahead.
Lots of stuff. But basically, like, the reason they were phased out was because the Soviets basically said, well, look, we cannot, like, stop this thing from developing, and you cannot stop us from developing our thing, right? So this is just going to lead to nuclear proliferation, right? The quickest way to debunk your argument is as follows. If these systems existed, and they had their thing in the arsenal, right? By now they would have been plagiarized everywhere. Right? The reason why state actors have nukes and sub-state actors, at least for the time being, they don't have nukes, is because to develop nukes, you need a lot of sophisticated engineering and know-how and whatnot, which don't exist in self-state actors, at least for now, right? If, however, you have these smaller devices, right? Like, let's say somebody figures out fourth generation weapons, right? Which is like a pure fusion device. A pure fusion device, and it's like an uncontrolled fusion reaction, and you get like 100-ton explosion or whatever the fuck, right? That technology is fundamentally scientific in nature, and if it succeeds, right, the 3D system and whatever would not exist to stop it, right? So you would get like a nuke which would have no radiation,
Sure.
right? And it would spread everywhere,
Okay.
basically. So
Well,
the reason we live in the world today, man, is because these things have not been invented. If they did, we would have been living in a different world. We would be living in a world where guy drops a suitcase off, 100-ton explosion, bam, and you hear it 5 hours later
okay,
in the
so
news.
I'll push back and say that Israel
Yeah, go for it,
is
man.
a rogue state. They're
Sure, man.
completely under rogue state leaders. They're Ben Gvir, Smotriches, all of these people. You know, you don't have to. Okay,
Sure.
so those
Yeah.
folks, if you think that they're not developing their nuclear technology, you're a fool. I'm just gonna say it straight up. If you think that they're not,
They're
of
developing,
course.
man. Bro, they're
So
developing. What I'm telling
yeah.
you is that nuclear weapons always give off radiation from space, right? And that's just how they are,
Yeah.
right? If you develop like a 5 kiloton or a 1 kiloton, satellites are going to capture that, right? If they don't capture it, man, I'm sorry.
I don't
Like the
mean
Iranians, like
testing.
every
I
now
don't
and
mean
then,
testing. I mean they have them, and they believe they have them, and they use them. It doesn't mean that they have to test them. You know. Okay.
you gotta test them,
No,
man.
you
Like
don't.
even the North Koreans tested, bro. The North Koreans tested them
Okay.
underground.
Well,
All right. And when they tested them underground, what do you think happened? There was an earthquake and there was radiation.
okay. Beyond that argument, Ahnaf, the United States certainly has tactical nuclear weapons, as do China and Russia. Likely.
What's the size of the device? What's the
Well,
size of the device you're talking about? What's the size of the device?
less than 100 kilotons, probably something like 5 to 10, something that can.
Okay, Pakistan, bro. Pakistan has 15 kilotons, 50
No, but
kilotons. All right. I'm talking about I'm talking
okay,
about like
1 kiloton, half a
mini
kiloton.
nukes.
I mean, I'm talking about things that are small enough to.
Yeah, suitcase nukes,
Small, exactly.
Yeah,
Oh, suitcase nuke in a
Yeah.
ballistic missile that
yeah.
Israel developed over the last 30 or 40 years. And if let's just hypothetically think about this. If Israel,
Okay.
runs into extreme difficulty, they have the Samson option. Everyone knows they do. So if they run into that difficulty with their war with Iran, they're getting pounded by hypersonics, all of this. Do we really think it's off the table that they would use a half kiloton to demolish a
Okay.
certain area of Iran?
Here's why we know for certain Israel does not have a half
Okay.
kiloton nuke. If they developed that device would have spread by now, right? And I'm not simply saying that because it's a mathematical argument, right? Like the reason why governments do nuclear testing like underground or whatever the fuck is because they know that it's going to get detected. Satellites from space, and I'm not just talking about Chinese and Russian satellites. I'm talking about private stuff. I'm talking about all this other shit, okay? You can detect radiation even from 100-ton explosion, right? Even if you don't test or whatever, right? By now, right? Whether it's a terrorist cell or someone else, or some Israeli terrorist in New York, he's like, I want to blow up a mosque with 100-ton suitcase nuke. It would have happened by now, right? The reason I don't like your argument ultimately, like, and I don't mean to insult you, but your argument ultimately comes down to the Wunderwaffen argument. Your argument is basically they have a bunch of these like mini suitcase nukes stashed away somewhere. They're waiting for the rainy day, and then they realize, hey man, we got to make the Messiah show up, right? We got to go for it, man, because we're losing to Iran, right? My argument to you is there are no Wunderwaffen, and the reason there's no Wunderwaffen is because if there were, right, the world would behave very differently, man. Right? Like I don't simply say this to like demean you or anything. I'm saying this like weapons behave in a certain logical way in human history. If a person develops a weapon and it can kill very efficiently and effectively and whatnot, the way human beings we operate is we try to allocate this use of force elsewhere, right? So like, okay, I develop a suitcase nuke of like 500 tons, and I can do that with like 10 kilos or whatever of like tritium or whatnot. I'm going to get assassinated, or I'm going to sell it to someone, or someone else is going to acquire it, or someone's going to plagiarize me. Eventually, it's going to end up somewhere else. The fact that we don't live in a world where, like, a random guy in Mali is using a suitcase nuke to blow up French forces, that tells me right there that these weapons don't exist, right? Now, am I saying they won't exist in the future? No, I think eventually they'll exist in the future. I think eventually you'll have a situation where terrorists and these other guys, as state governments fail, as America fails, as Russia fails, as China fails, they'll get these weapons and they'll be like, yeah, we're going to make them smaller. Like this is what human beings do, right? Like we take stuff that bigger guys develop, and the poorer people, the markets, they become more efficient, or something else happens, or like religious organizations do it. But eventually someone figures out a more efficient way to make something, right? And then the weapon spreads, and then it reaches like a certain productive limit, and then it crashes down, right?
See,
what I'm telling you is that we've not seen that negative feedback. Right? If we did, that would be a very different world.
One thing to keep in mind with Israel using nukes. Israel is the size of New Jersey. That's a commonly quoted one. What people don't know is 95% of the population of Israel resides in an area that's roughly the size of Greater Toronto. Israel fires off a nuke. It's not real hard to level Greater Toronto.
His argument is not that they fire off the nuke. His argument is that they have a device that's like 2 kilotons or smaller, and they detonate it using like a Mossad guy in Tehran or whatever.
No,
right?
no. Like, that's not my argument.
Okay, go for it. Man.
I think he's saying that they have like short range missile systems that they could deliver.
Artillery stuff.
No. Not just launching from an artillery. Like, go ahead, Nova Scotia, Tony.
Well, I was going to say, like, it's pretty widely known that they do have a wide range of tactical nukes and deliveries.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
tactical nukes exist.
And deliveries.
150. Okay. Again, we have to define our terms. Are we talking about a 100 kiloton device? Yeah, that's what Israel has. 100 to 400 kilotons. Right?
They've got a wide range.
Yeah,
they do.
They have a much wider range than you're appreciating, Ahmed.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to tell you.
And
the United States.
And I don't think that logic works either, that just because we don't see it like in smaller, in like dirty war situations. Like
I'm not just saying that we don't see it. I'm saying that technology spreads in these types of situations would eventually show up. Right? Like when Americans make the argument that, hey man, you ain't seen nothing yet, we got like a jet that's invisible to the eye. I say that, look man, this is a Wunderwaffen argument, right? You need to give me like evidence for like, and it doesn't have to be nukes. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be like a 2 kiloton device.
No, but
it's
important. Like just American bluster and cope when they say, oh, we're going to have a big, beautiful
Yeah.
But the Israelis don't talk about this. They're not signed to the NPT. The only reason we know
their arsenal.
Kind of Vanunu, but that was 40 years ago.
Sure.
So we know they've got, like, I truly believe they have a wide range from small all the way up to.
That's what I'm saying.
They have third generation stuff. Yeah, okay, bro. They have third generation stuff. They have about 300, 400 devices, right?
No. Yeah, not just first generation. Do you think the Israeli
third gen? That's what I said. Third gen.
Okay, sorry.
I said third gen, bro. Bro, look. I study this stuff, man. Look, this is my full-time job. Okay, look, they got 300, 400 devices. All right, it's all third gen stuff. It's all state of the art. Third gen stuff, right? At the lower limit, you're talking about 100 kiloton device. At the upper limit, you're talking about 600 kiloton device, right? If you're talking about a device which is like 2 kiloton, 1 kiloton, the design has to be completely different, right? Like when the Davy Crockett was designed by the Americans, right? It was pretty like compact, but they still have to design it for like artillery, or they have to design it for like short range or whatever, right? All the Israeli stuff is like medium range and long range stuff, right? So if you're firing the missile, man, I'm sorry, but it's gonna be detected by satellite, right? If your argument is, well, no, they can just use it as a suitcase nuke, 100 kiloton device in a suitcase nuke is not possible, man. Right? You're talking about basically several tons of ordnance and whatnot, right? And again, there's the radiation thing, there's the detection thing, right? And it's the same thing. It's like if you develop a device that is so small and so compact, we would have seen it by now appear in the black market or on all these other places, man.
When I was out 4 in the Army, I made up what I claimed was a fake Davy Crockett in my knapsack. So when the officers asked me, what fake weapons are you planning to deploy today, PFC Blakemore for Op 4, I told them I've got a Davy Crockett here in my knapsack. So that was good for a laugh. But in those times, the size of a knapsack was very impressive. That they nowadays.
I'm not saying, by the way, but Sir Cleveland, I'm not saying that these weapons are impossible to make. I think eventually they will be made, right? What I'm simply saying is that the way human nature works and the way the world works is that the moment you get like a 4th generation device, or the moment you get a device like that, man, it's gonna be everywhere, right? Like what you're describing is the end of civilization right there, right? Because bro, go for it.
Of course. Okay, let me. So just from Wikipedia, the Pakistani military. Okay, the Pakistani military.
Kiloton.
It has a solid fuel, short range, nuclear capable ballistic missile, and it's called the Nasser, which means victory.
That's right.
And the blast yield is 0.5 to 5 kilotons. Okay, 0.5 to 5 kilotons. Do you think the Israelis have something less than that? They have everything more than the Pakistanis.
That's what I was going to say.
Again,
the Pakistani arsenal. Okay, the Pakistani arsenal is a bunch of 2nd-gen devices, right? The thing with the Pakistani arsenal is that if you fire it, you're going to detect it, man, right? Same thing with the reason it's variable is because the design is not as reliable as some of the other more advanced designs, right? But in terms of like the 5 kiloton thing, like if the Pakistanis start a war with India tomorrow, satellites will pick it up immediately, right? And then the other nations of the world will be like, okay, we've had a first use by Pakistan or by India or whatever the fuck, right? On this battlefield here, and now MAD is active, right? And this is the thing.
I'm not sure. Again, because look, does China want?
Do you believe?
Does China want to suicide itself for Iran?
It's not about suicide. It's not like you're looking at it the wrong way. It's not about suicide. It's about the basic fact that conventional weapons have overnight become useless, right? And so from our perspective of national interest, our entire conventional arsenal is now useless. So if we don't attack our enemies now, they will now use their nukes against us. That is the calculation. The calculation is not, oh my gosh, China, I'm so, I love Iran so much, I'm going to commit suicide for Iran. Bro, it's not perhaps.
I'm saying that, if in those days it was the size of a shoebox, and nowadays they've got it down to the size of a tennis ball, what soldier wouldn't want to take a nuclear tennis ball? I'd take them. I'd fill the whole knapsack up with them, and it's irresistible. Once you realize what a powerful weapon that is, that even the individual soldier can carry, who wouldn't want a nuclear grenade?
Yeah, 4th generation. Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, I am open to the idea of 4th generation devices being developed. I don't see anything wrong with like physics and whatnot, which forbids them from being designed. All I'm telling you is 3rd generation devices are detectable from satellite, right? Unless you develop a 4th generation weapon that has zero emissions. Zero emissions, by the way, just so we're clear what we're talking about, zero radioactive activity. And it's just a big 100-ton explosion or whatever. Unless you develop something like that, so exactly. So unless you develop that, MAD is active, right? Okay, but what happens, here's the problem, right? Let's say, okay, I wave the magic wand. Tomorrow, some dude figures out 4th generation pure fusion devices, 1 ton to 100 ton, not even kiloton, right? They look like big conventional weapons, and it's just like no radiation, no MAD, no nothing, right? Okay, like that is the end of civilization right there. Because what he's done is he's created a weapon which has made the marginal cost of warfare almost zero, right? And so it's like, okay, well, do I release this into the world? Well, it doesn't matter what you believe, right? Because you've developed it, you've opened Pandora's box. Someone else will figure it out somewhere else, right?
Of course.
And like the Israelis, they love to bluff. Like the reason I never listen to Wunderwaffen argument and I only look at empirical stuff is because the Wunderwaffen argument, it's just like your imagination goes in all directions. And like, I just use mathematics. I'm like, okay, if this weapon actually existed in the real world, what would the world you and I live in actually look like? Right? And that's where you get all these contradictions. It's not going to happen.
Well,
I mean, maybe the Israelis decide.
Here's the
Yeah,
flaw in your argument. Okay, here's the flaw,
go for it, man.
and I'm not
Go for it,
trying
man. Go
to.
for it.
It's okay.
I know, bro. It's a
Yeah,
back and forth. Don't worry about it. It's all good, bro.
It's just
Yeah,
discussing. Okay, so
yeah,
let's
bro.
just hypothetically,
Yeah.
a nuclear power who has, let's say, tactical nuclear weapons uses one on a power that does not have tactical nuclear weapons, nor do they have treaties, self-defense treaties, written in stone that say, and Pakistan or Russia or China will
whatever,
respond.
Sure,
okay.
Sure.
So yeah, sure. So in that scenario has never been dealt with in the real world, right? So if they use a 0.5
in the real world,
kiloton,
correct? Yeah.
Okay, so if they use a 0.5 kiloton nuclear weapon, detonate that in let's say in an area near whatever, Shiraz or wherever they have
whatever.
they think, okay,
I get it. Yeah.
does Russia and China inevitably respond with nuclear weapons, or is there
the answer to your question? Okay. So I'm going to answer this question, and I'm going to do it properly this time.
Please.
Yeah. Herman Kahn, and Sir Cleveland knows what I'm talking about. Herman Kahn also asked this question. He said, "What if Sweden gets attacked by a rogue state?" Right? And he didn't mention a rogue state, but like it's implied in his writing that it's like Israel, right? Sure. Okay, so he's like, okay, what if Sweden gets hit by Israel, right? Well, Sweden doesn't have any like whatever, right? And technically speaking, right, like NATO is defense on all against all, whatever, right? But Article 5 isn't really that like that. Okay.
Yeah.
All of the countries of the world, especially the nuclear countries, they're going to look at that and go, our conventional arsenals overnight, because of first use nukes, have become irrelevant, right? Either we use the nukes now or they become useless, right? It's law of diminishing returns. Yeah. Basically, I have a nuke and then 5 minutes ago someone used a nuke. Okay, if I wait 12 hours, right, the value of my nukes are going to approach near zero. Yeah. Okay? If I approach this now of like, okay, I attack them 5 hours from now, they approach zero as well, but it's closer to like a positive value. And so the immediate reaction people are going to make in the military, right, of these societies is we got to use our nukes up right now.
I gotcha.
Right?
I gotcha.
And who are they going to attack? Oh my gosh, I'm going to attack Israel because I love Iran and I'm going to take... No, that's not what's going on. What's going on is... It's
a power play, yeah.
It's not a positive power play. It's a power play of my arsenal is fucking useless and my nuclear arsenal that I have right now, 12 hours from now, it's going to be useless. I got to use it on my enemies right now. So that in the end of it all, like 3 days from now, if one of us is still alive and kicking, quote unquote, or whatever the fuck, right? You know, I am somehow less worse off than that guy. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes.
We are all going to die. We're all going to die. All our arsenals are going down towards zero. All of us are going to die. Yeah. It's going down towards zero. We need to use it as fast as possible because if we don't, 3 days from now in the rubble, right, America's going to take his arm out first and I'm going to take my arm. It's like a boxing match, basically. Yeah. I have to unload you. You have to unload me with all my stuff, right? And then we're both on the ground. Referee's counting to 10. Because I unloaded on you half a second earlier, it's more likely for me to go back up. That's all it is, man. It's not, I love Iran. Iran, please, I gotta save your ass, Iran. That's not what's going on, man. It's just basic brute rationality.
When they say, MAD, mutual assured destruction, but he also came up with the rule that the premium on restraint that comes from MAD turns into a penalty on restraint once the weapons are used. You are a bad soldier if you don't use your stuff before they become useless. So just as MAD can restrain people from using nukes, it will place a premium on everybody using whatever they have once they're used.
And the highest premium, and here's the thing, the highest premium is on the guy who used the first use of nukes.
Yeah.
So let's say hypothetically, let's say Pakistan uses nukes first.
Yeah.
And it is going to sound crazy, but here's the thing. It sounds crazy and unintuitive, but once you do the mathematics of game theory, it makes sense. If Pakistan uses nukes first, there is a premium on Russia to hit Pakistan with nukes, even though Russia and Pakistan are on good terms. And the reason for that is because since Pakistan used nukes first, they have the highest positive sum advantage, right? And if you don't take them down a notch, right, relative to them, your disadvantage is going to be worse. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? Sure. So you have to hit them first, right? And so that's the thing. It's like, all of this sounds very abstract and whatever, but like, people built their entire careers on this stuff. Like they built 12 different supercomputers, and they're like, okay, man, let's make the supercomputers run a bajillion simulations. What happens in these? And the answer they came to was any first use of nukes means that, like Sir Cleveland was saying, the restraint that you had for all this time, you gotta let it go and you gotta fire it all off.
And I think Herman Kahn was trying to show that because of nuclear weapons, you can lose your entire civilization in 24 hours. What seems
basically that was what
the
happened.
day before is gone by the next day, and that's always scared the hell out of me. It's always scared me.
Sure.
If North Korea fires a missile,
they'll be obliterated.
Right?
Yes,
they'll be obliterated. They'll be obliterated by Russia and China.
I get that. I get that. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the slight counter argument I have. First
of
all,
go for it.
The Israelis are not rational. They're trying to bring on Armageddon.
That's fine, man. You don't have to be rational, bro.
Even Herman Kahn not posit that one of the participants is completely insane. That's the weirdest rule of all. In terms of a modifier that makes the whole equation invalid, crazy people with nuclear weapons who are not making sense are the worst of all.
Yeah.
Right.
Let them be irrational, bro. Like, the thing is, them being irrational doesn't make Russia and China go, okay, we're not gonna shoot you, man. It's just like it's not about hoping, man. It's like basic. It's human nature. Like, I hope humans will, like, if I go out tomorrow, I hope humans will not rape and kill. That's basically what you're saying. I'm telling you, humans will rape and kill tomorrow. As sure as the sun's gonna come up, humans will rape and kill. That's literally what I'm telling you, man.
Okay. All right.
Well, maybe just every country.
It's not
nukes, you know, like everybody should have them. Did the simulation do for that? Like, was everyone given a nuke?
So basically, in all these simulations where, like, first use happens and, like, you have this, like, nuclear gangbang that takes place, inevitably so, what ends up happening several months and years later is that everyone else is like, yeah, our conventional arsenal is useless. Get the nuke, bribe people, fucking steal it, fucking get, kidnap their scientists or whatever the fuck. That's basically what happens on all the simulations, right? Yeah. So, like, it's like, yeah, man, enough. Israel is crazy. I'm like, okay, let them be crazy, man. Then 2 billion people are dead. Wonderful. All right. 6 billion people left. Let's continue civilization. There we go.
That's my base case. Eventually.
And that's over with. Yeah.
By the way, I don't disagree with your argument. I don't disagree that eventually we will have devices. Like, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree that we will eventually have devices which are like 100 ton and have zero radiation. All I'm telling you is, if we develop that thing, man, holy shit, it's going to be a very interesting 12 months. Right? Yeah. It's going to be like, it spreads everywhere, man.
Yeah.
You'll be in the fucking, I'll tell you what, you'll be in Sierra Leone, you'll be at a black market somewhere, and like 12 months later, you'll see like a fucking device show up. That's literally what's going to happen. Right? Yeah. It's like drugs. If someone develops a super high addictive drug, because of how human nature works, because we rape and kill each other, and we're not good and we have inherent evil in us, these things are going to spread, man. That's literally what this is. That's my argument. My argument is not, oh my gosh, Russia and China love Iran so much, they're going to commit suicide for Iran. No. My argument is, Russia and China are going to behave like human nature 101. Therefore, this is going to happen.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. I still posit that low yield nuclear weapons could potentially be used on Iran And
let them use it, bro. Let them use it.
right, yeah,
Let them
the
use it and get
consequences,
destroyed.
the
Yeah.
consequences might take more than a month, but they, like you said,
Oh, I
of
don't think
course,
like the consequences, bro. The consequences will be there for millions of years. That's how long the radiation's gonna be. It's not gonna be
right,
fucking months. It's gonna be millions of years.
sure,
Okay, is
No
that
more oil and
true?
gas trade and all the
I
other
mean,
shit. Yeah.
fair
Yeah.
enough.
people still live in Hiroshima, which got hit with the
Yeah.
nuke. I mean, I don't know about the millions of years are assuming full scale exchange with everybody
Yeah.
everything all at once.
Exactly.
I mean, a small nuke. I think the problem Israel runs into is a small nuke takes out a quarter of Tehran. Let's say that's about what, 3-4 million people.
5 million
5
people.
million
5 million
people.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
takes out a quarter of Iran. Now, if Iran has nukes, and I suspect Iran has a few, they're now headed
Mm-hmm.
to Israel on the next. Iran will know immediately who was responsible for this.
Yeah, it got fucking launched from Israel, man. You can see the shit from like a mile away with the satellite.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if that happens,
Yeah.
Iran
Yeah.
starts giving them a combination of nuclear and conventional missiles. And again, Greater Toronto area. Does Iran
Yeah.
have, does Israel, with all its nukes and all its missiles, have the power to level twice the size of Texas? No.
No.
Does
No.
Iran,
No.
with just conventional missiles, have the capability of leveling Greater Toronto?
Yeah.
That's because you have to think about
Yeah.
it. 95% of all Israelis live in an area that's roughly the size of Greater Toronto. So you don't really even have to nuke New Jersey. All you got to do.
Well, I appreciate you guys, for disabusing me of the fact that MAD is going to come. That perhaps
MAD is a mathematical relationship. At the same way as like the relationship is the same way as like I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and tell everyone I hope humans don't rape and kill each other today, right? I'm just fucking wrong, man. Like that's not how it works. Yeah.
In this situation is,
Yeah.
does like Israel wants America to launch its nuclear arsenal in the case that it launches its own. No question about that. Is America, it's the old saying with like having nukes with NATO, nobody is going to trade Chicago for Tallinn. I don't think too many people are going to trade Tel Aviv for New York, much as the two are similar, but it's like that, nobody's trading Los Angeles for Haifa.
The Americans will use their nukes on someone else, and the reason they'll use it on someone else, they'll also use it on Israel. They'll use it elsewhere. But like the logic of them using it is not like it's not about trading population. It's about the other guy has just unleashed a weapon that makes all of my other weapons irrelevant. I, as a nation state, have certain national interests. One of them is the preservation of the nation state, self-preservation, right? Do I get less self-preservation or more self-preservation if I hold on to my nukes? Yeah. If I launch my nukes, there is still a chance of self-preservation.
Chance that China and Russia are launching theirs.
But if I don't launch my nukes, I'm not going to self-preserve. That's basically what it comes down to.
If you don't
there's like a 0 point.
Don't launch your nukes. There's a much better chance that you're not losing a significant, that a significant chunk of your population is now living in radioactive glowing glass areas. So,
they don't care about that. Like
they don't care about that. Well, but they
don't care about it. They care about the
MAD. Yeah. Okay, Israel and Pakistan have decided to throw nukes at each other. I'm just going to use this one as my just a hypothetical.
Yeah.
Now, I know the mutually assisted destruction thing. I also know that it might well make sense for a diplomat to say, we won't fire ours if you don't fire yours. And in this case, if we have a 100% chance of enormous mass casualties, if we have a total exchange. We already know.
Again and again, Israel does.
So the diplomatic assurances. Okay, so yeah. So Sir Cleveland also mentioned this, but diplomatic assurances don't work, and the reason it doesn't work has to do with the nature of the arsenal. Basically, if the Americans launch, or a launch is detected, or whatever, because of how ICBMs work, you don't know what it's going to fly over, right? So let's say the actual destination of the launch is Pyongyang, or it's, I don't know, Islamabad, or whatever, right? It's going to have to fly through airspace, which makes it look as if it's either over Russian airspace or close enough, right? So, they made a movie out of this, but like the movie is based on like an actual book. I think it's called Nuclear War. And it's just like one of these like journalists. She actually did a decent job writing about the book. But like the point she made is that after first use, hey guys, diplomatic assurances, hey Russia, China, we're not going to fire the nukes if you don't fire yours, right? It's just words, man. It's just words. Words versus actual national self-preservation. Okay, actual national self-preservation. 0 if I don't fire. 0.00000, add 20 more zeros, 0.1% if I do fire. So they'll take that.
Okay.
Right? And the reason they'll take that is because,
Now, what we're talking about here is we've spotted a missile. Okay, we don't know
that's
where
been fired.
it comes from. Okay, that is not the end of that's not the end of a country the size of China, Russia, or the United States. That's the end of a city. That makes okay.
Right.
So let's start there.
Portion of a city, basically. Portion of a city.
Okay, so portion of a city. Portion of a city. Like once you figure, like if you go with again, the MAD, all right, we're going to fire everything at everybody, which is what Israel has threatened with the Samson option.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah, that's right.
You pull the Samson option, you're pulling the ceiling down on your head too.
Yeah.
So it's like, whereas, like, if you're dealing with a China, a Russia, or the United States, it's like, I could see them saying, okay, Israel, shot a nuke at Iran. Israel got hit with a few nukes from some other places. Do we jump in knowing this could start a full-scale nuclear?
That's my fear. That's my fear.
They're going to. The reason they're going to jump in. The reason they're going to jump in is because the fundamental relationship has not changed. The conventional arsenal is 0 because nukes have been used, and then nukes have been used again. Right? Number 1. Number 2, diplomatic assurances, again, just words. Number 3, no matter who launches or whatnot, they get that 0.0001% chance of surviving. Right? And if they hold back, like I said, your nuclear arsenal, okay, your conventional arsenal is...
But is that chance better than words?
I mean, it's what I'm saying is I could see diplomats decide. I know game theory here. I could see where it's like, okay, we have seen a nuclear exchange in, all right, Tel Aviv, somebody dumped a nuke on Tehran. Tehran, like Pakistan, just dumped a nuke on Tel Aviv. Is it in our best interest as a major power to jump into this? Or do we sit here and let these people shoot this stuff at each other?
The longer you sit and you don't use your nukes, the less effective it becomes. Which is why you will use your nukes.
The amount of nukes you have less effective is like if our nukes, when we count our airborne nukes, our missiles, our seaborne nukes, our carrier-carrying nukes, everything, we will still be able to strike one hell of a blow.
That's what I'm saying.
At any point, we're assuming Israel and Pakistan are the two players. We can wait 12 hours and then basically bomb the bejesus out of both of them.
Yeah.
So that doesn't work.
Well,
so here's why that doesn't work.
Okay.
So here's why that doesn't work, right? The longer you hold on to your nukes, right, the more likely it is that someone else in some other part of the world is using nukes as the third participant or the fourth participant or the fifth participant. The whole point of a weapon system is they get you a result. So they get you a kinetic result. So the longer you hold on to the nukes, the more that your adversaries or your allies or whoever use their nukes and gain, quote unquote, that advantage, right? And here's the thing. It's not like the 9 nuclear nation states are all your buddies, right? 3 of them are outright your enemies. You've got Russia, you've got China, you've got North Korea, right? They also have that same calculation. The calculation is, I can hold on to my nukes for 12 hours, 16 hours, 20 hours, or I can unload them on my enemy and gain the advantage right now. Yes, I would be nuked in response, but there is that chance of, both the boxers go down on the mat. The 10 count is being given by the ref, and one of us manages to get back up, right? That's why the Americans are going to factor in, right? And when I say Americans, I'm not talking about Trump or whatever the fuck. I'm talking about whoever's firing the thing, right? Because if we're in a nuclear war, the guy in the submarine is the one who's making the decision at that point, right? Because the first strike, second strike has already happened, right? So we're in that new world now, where everything is happening all at once, right? So it doesn't work that way, right? Restraint becomes like a limiting factor in this world, right? Because we don't live in a world where there's a third option. The option is not, okay, well, conventional, nuclear, and then a third option. The option is, well, nuclear and conventional, and if there is a first use of nuclear, conventional weapons become useless.
I'm not 100% sure about that because, well, first of all, it's a theory. Second of all, let's just say India, Pakistan go
it's
crazy.
A simulation, bro.
I know. I understand, but it's also a theory. Mutual assured destruction is a theory. It's never happened, and it's just a thought about theory.
All of our things are theories, man.
Yes.
The world you live, the world you see around you is
I know.
0.1%, man.
I know,
99.9% of things that we talk about are theories. All right.
Okay, so let's just try this case where India, Pakistan fire nukes at each other.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So in Islamabad they fire a nuke. India fires a nuke.
Yeah.
Is it 100%? Is it even 0.01%? Greater than 0.01% chance that China and Russia and the U.S. get together and say, "Yeah, we don't like that. We're going to not use our nukes against each other because India, Pakistan use nukes against each other."
They will use their nukes against each other, and the reason they will, they will is not because of CD trading or all of that stuff. The reason they will is that there is a higher question. The higher question is, if I sit on my ass and do nothing, there's an opportunity cost for that. What is the opportunity cost? The opportunity cost is my adversaries might use the nukes against me. Now that, again, the nuclear taboo has been broken. And it's because of that fear. Once again, human nature 101. Again, I'm not making I'm making the most basic human nature 101 argument.
I hear you.
Because of that, they're gonna fire out the nukes. It's not because of yeah, man, I gave him diplomatic assurances, I believe what he said. All of that's bullshit, man. This is New World, right?
It's all bullshit.
They fight the nukes.
New World. Very few people want a nuclear war. I am not sure that an India-Pakistan war or even an Iran-Israel nuclear exchange are enough to get everybody shooting at each other because of a game theory.
Right. That's my point.
Where I would,
game theory.
I hear
give you a situation. American policy, as I understand it, is they will use nukes if a carrier is sunk. That to them is a level of war where they consider it justified to bring out nuclear weapons. Iran sinks a carrier. Spoiler alert. If we bring carriers in there, there's a better and even chance Iran does sink a carrier.
Yeah.
Now that's where you get into a nuclear exchange. And even there, I would expect China and Russia to sit that out and let America do the exchanges.
If Iran uses conventional means to sink the carrier, MAD would not be triggered, right?
Oh,
MAD
that's
would
what
be triggered.
I'm saying. According to American official nuclear policy, if you sink an aircraft carrier, America reserves the right to use nukes against you. America would now have an
Yeah.
excuse. That I think
That's
is a very
their declaration. Sure. Well, like people, I don't depend on people's declarations. What I depend on is like kinetics. It's like, okay, well, two guys here are using nukes. Okay, nukes have been used. All right, our conventional arsenal is physically, kinetically useless. All right, if we don't use nukes, what happens? What's the opportunity cost? Well, this is the opportunity cost. Therefore, we will use nukes, right? That's the decision tree. The Americans saying, if our carrier gets sunk, we will use nukes, right? That doesn't trigger MAD because, again, these countries still have an off-ramp. The off-ramp is, okay, well, America, you're saying that, but you can still use conventional weapons, right? Or whatnot. Now, if the Americans actually use nukes against Iran because the carrier is sunk, that's a different world, right? Because, again, you're launching the nuke as an ICBM or whatever, or like a submarine launch or whatever. It'll be detected by satellite, and off to the races we go, right? But, like, I'm not depending on like assurances or what people say about what they're gonna do or whatever. Like, and here's the thing about game theory. Like, oh no, if it's just game theory. Here's the thing. Most of these launch systems, right? There's the human element and then there's the automatic element, right? Like the Russians have one. It's called the dead hand system, right? It's all fun and games until you realize that the mathematics operating these things are, right, whether derivative from game theory, decision theory, or like one of these other systems, right? So like it's gonna happen that way, folks. If you see, like let's say the Russians detect an ICBM from the Americans, right? And it's not a test and it's not one of these other things, right? And okay, it's going up into the stratosphere or whatever, right? Eventually they'll be like, okay, it's either gonna be on top of us or it's gonna be headed towards Russian airspace or whatnot, right? In that case, they have to make a decision, right? And the decision, even if they don't do it, right? If it gets close enough or something else gets triggered, right? The quote unquote theoretical model then becomes real, right? Then it becomes like, okay, well, the computer detected it and this, that, and the other thing, and we think we're gonna get hit, so we have to now fire, basically, right? We're not at that world where it's gonna be 100% automated, right? I don't think we're ever gonna get there, but that's kind of the decision people will make, right? You know, India, Pakistan going nuclear would eventually, right? It might take, I don't know, give it a few hours, but at that point they will start the firing. There's not going to be restraint. People are not going to listen to diplomatic assurances. They're going to look at actions. They're going to look at actions. They're going to look at arsenals, and they're going to be like, our arsenal is useless. You know, it's all about actions now. I can be someone who's inactive. I can do inaction, or I can do action, right? And
or
so,
I can arm
like,
my
I think,
missiles, and I can say, like, I know the dead hand you're talking about with Russia. I believe
yeah,
you need to have a credible strike coming toward
yeah,
Russian
yeah.
airspace, right? Coming into like
Yeah.
where
The trajectory has to be
the
that. It
trajectory
has to be
has to
going
head
towards there.
into
Yeah.
there. Like,
Yeah.
Iran, India, and Pakistan. Okay, that's going to suck for India. It's going to suck for Pakistan. If I nuke America, it's going to suck for everybody. And it's like, America has no reason to nuke. China may have like some feelings on it. North Korea may have some feelings on it.
Right. The point I'm making is that it doesn't matter. After first use, feelings no longer matter. It's just pure mathematics at that point. It's just like, if I don't fire, this is going to be my situation. It's not perhaps, boys. It's
Well,
like,
no, but
yeah,
no.
yeah.
It is
Again, a
perhaps,
counter argument.
actually.
It is because we don't. This again, it's all theory. But I understand what you're saying, Ahnaf, is 99%
It's not all theory,
accurate.
bro. All
No.
the machines and these things,
Here's the
man,
thing.
like
No.
they
Here's
all
the
operate
thing.
this way.
Here's the
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
It does not matter whether the first nuclear missile or the 10th nuclear missile hits Russia. The issue is that Russia has nuclear capable submarines that can hit the United States regardless of what the U.S. launches. And so knowing that fact, it will be it's much more complicated than just saying, oh, a missile is launched towards Russia, oh no, the US will take a deep breath and they'll say, do we want to launch towards Russia knowing that that we cannot interdict every single
Every
Russian right? Do you
every
understand?
ICBM, I understand what you're saying. Every ICBM that the Americans have in their arsenal has to fly over Russian airspace. The reason for that is because the shortest, most efficient route is through the North Pole. That's how the missiles were designed. So even if your target is like fucking Vietnam, it has to fly over Russian airspace, which is the point I'm making.
Oh, I wouldn't
right?
bet
Like,
on those ICBMs flying anywhere out of their silos. I would, in fact, make a pretty sizable bet that most of those ICBM missiles are obsolete and we keep them around for show. We haven't done anything
that's
to
even
update
worse.
them until the
Yeah.
90s. I mean, it's like, yeah, tell them to fire. Most of them ain't gonna fire.
If that's the case, if that's the case, right, then that's even worse. And that what that means is, right, the people with actual working arsenals would start firing their arsenals, right? And whether it's the North Koreans, the Chinese, or the Russians or whatever, right? And we get to like Sir Cleveland scenario where like, yeah, the Americans try to fire as well. Only a few of them fire. The rest of them explode in their silos or whatever, right? And then all these other things happen, right? Like a lot of these countries, they don't have like, they say that they have like no first use or whatever. But again, these are all diplomatic assurances or whatever, right? What does Human Nature 101 say? Human Nature 101 says that if you're at a overwhelming disadvantage, you're going to try and gain an advantage, right? And even if, like I said, even if it's like a 0.1 or whatever, like a very small chance that you get out of the rubble, you'll take it.
Well,
Right?
the fact
So,
is, like, I think Najee made an important point. Both the United States and Russia can respond to strikes on American land, Russian land. I don't know anything about Chinese submarines, so I don't want to speak to that, but I'd be very surprised if the Chinese also don't have that capability. You have
in terms of the triad, I believe the Chinese also have submarine launch.
Okay, so what that means is, yeah, you have like you can hit and level like a country that like is not directly involved in this, but those the two countries we'd really have to worry about in this exchange would be Russia and China. If something happens, Iran, like Israel decides they're going to pull the Samson option, maybe they can hit DC, maybe they can hit New York. That's it. There'd be horrible casualties, but essentially, Israel has to realize if they pull the Samson option, like I said, they're going to get pounded into glowing green glass. They know that.
In terms of submarines, okay, so in terms of submarines, so you've got 9 nuclear nations. Okay, who's got submarine capability? All right, Russia.
France, the United States, Russia, maybe China.
So all of them do. Okay,
maybe Israel.
Okay, so here's the thing. Okay, so Americans have the following capabilities. Americans have submarine-launched ballistic missiles, right? Americans don't have submarine-launched cruise missiles, right? They don't have it. They're developing one, but they don't have it. Okay. Russia has all three. Russia has submarine-launched ballistic, submarine-launched cruise. They also have drone nuke capability, underwater vehicle thing. All right. Britain has submarine-launched ballistic. France has submarine-launched ballistic. China has submarine-launched ballistic. Israel has submarine-launched cruise. India has submarine-launched ballistic. Pakistan has submarine-launched cruise. Right? In terms of North Korea does not have submarine launch. What North Korea has is tactical nukes, ground-launched cruise missiles, medium-range ballistic missiles, etc., etc. All of these are nuclear capable, right? Okay, what do the Israelis have? The Israelis have the following: gravity bomb. So you have to fly over a target and then dump that gravity bomb. Like I said, they have submarine-launched cruise a few moments ago. And they have two other things. They have medium-range ballistic missile and intermediate-range ballistic missile. In terms of what the Pakistanis have, they have intermediate, medium, tactical. They don't have an ICBM. Okay, yeah. In terms of the ICBM arsenal, who's got an ICBM? North Korea has an ICBM arsenal. India has an ICBM arsenal. China has one, and Russia and America have one. Right? So, in terms of the nuclear club, it's not just Russia and China. Right? There's these other players as well. North Korea, I think they're talking about the Hwasong 19. I think the North Koreans they got their ICBM or whatever, right?
Sure.
All right. There we
Yeah,
go.
yeah. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. Let's just say that.
Hey, relax. It's only 2 billion
My
casualties. What are you getting so
actual
scared
worry
about?
about nuclear war is less that it turns into like, the basically a mad situation. The real
Hmm.
scary one might be that, okay, Iran and Israel lob nukes at each other. Iraq, India and Pakistan lob nukes at each other. There's horrible casualties, but, basically the world doesn't come to an end. And what happens
It's not going to come to an
after
end anyway.
that, what happens
Yeah.
after that, after it doesn't go into mutually assured destruction, is you now
Hmm.
have probably 20 or 30 nations before it's all over who have smaller nuclear weapons that they use regularly as tactical weapons anytime they go to war. Basically,
Even in the mad scenario, yeah, like even in the mad scenario, the world doesn't end. Like, okay, well, 2 billion people are like dead or dying or whatever. Okay, there's 6 billion people left on the planet, right? And okay, fine, a bunch of
Well,
these
fair enough.
states failed, like a bunch of these like countries and nations failed or whatever. Okay, fine, smaller countries, I don't know, fucking terrorists, rebel groups or whatever, and like Sirkin was saying, just make the smaller nukes or whatever, right? Like I said, I don't disagree with the thesis that weapons will become more efficient and whatnot, right? But like we're not there yet, guys. Like we don't have like fourth generation pure fusion weapons that have zero radiation, right? Satellites are very powerful. We see the fucking radiation from like miles away, and you know, let me just say that I'm not as optimistic as you guys with regard to how human nature works. I don't see rationality, sanity, quote unquote, whatever words we want to use, when like you have a decay function which tells you use your nukes now or they become useless. Right? So there you go. It's like, uh,
I am
what are
going to
we
have
at
to,
right
it's
now?
about one, little after one. We've been here.
Yeah. I think we've done like 3 hours already. So I think Sir Cleveland left a while ago as well.
Yeah.
So all right. So, Sir Kenaz, with that being said, we've had like 3+ hours. What final words of wisdom would you like to,
Same thing we say
give to
every
our
night,
audience?
Pinky. The doom cometh.
The doom cometh. All right. Thanks, guys.
You
Thanks
go.
for showing up. See ya.
Your soul is mine. Fatality.